Hey, my name's Rachael Ancheril. I play Commander Non on Star Trek Discovery. Welcome to
Hello there, are you seeking Yamaharon?
Don't even know what that is. I would like to float alone in the pool in silence.
They're releasing a number 1 Voyager again. It's Camping Archer and his dog.
What?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live in Technicolor from the beautiful Hollywood Hills, California. The show where the total retail price of their advice is $0. This is Timelines Talk. Featuring guest stars. The fact of the matter is, oh my, it's stars and garters. Also featuring, more like Command Dips suck, look out, it's Automaton 2000. And now, there's no way he gets this intro right. Here's your host, Captain Idol.
Yes, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Timelines Talks, your premium exclusive #1 show for all things Star Trek and Star Trek timelines. I am Captain Idol, and I am joined by my fellow co-hosts here, Automaton 2000 and Stars and Garters. And where we thought we were going to have a slow week this week, no. WRG came out and went, haha, announcements. Fuck you guys. Guys, how are you this week?
All right, folks, pull up and chat. What's more disturbing about that intro? Idol's sexy female voice or my man chest?
That was meant to be as camp as I possibly could.
I feel like there's like a few responses in the chat that perfectly sum up our fan base. I don't think we're fan base, but we have fan base. There's Rev Damar who was saying, "Oh God, no," and then there's No Name Namer saying Ubermensch, and these are the two extremes that we have cultivated. And I'm glad to have that. That's a nice diversity of opinion. I'm happy about that.
Thank you to Agent Danielle and Roy Kirk pre-stream for subscribing. You accidentally triggered my thing where it brought up the red alert screen, which was a new thing I was going to reveal when someone subscribed, but I actually didn't program it properly. So there we go.
Guys, subscribe when we start so that we can hear the alarm and we can shout you out. And you do a pre-stream and it's just like us three holding a party hoppers by ourselves.
Yeah, because like here's the thing, guys. If you don't trigger your subs when we're actually online, then you don't get. You don't get the drama. You don't get the suspense.
The pure suspense. Okay, this week we are going to be talking about the new #1 Voyager. We'll be talking about the new crew, Esteemed Curzon, Mary Kaplan, some more honour for us in an event, some trait changes, a new campaign track event in the announcements. First off, we have on March 23rd, we will have WRG are coming onto the show. We will be having another Q&A interview, so thank you to everyone that submitted questions. Questions are now closed, so they can't go on anymore. Guys?
I will say we had over 10 pages of questions, and I think we're going to pare that down quite a bit. But WG will also be on the charity stream on the 3rd, and I think we're going to have more questions then. So
yes, March 23rd for the WRG Q&A. Tune in. There'll be some interesting stuff there. Always is with Ben. We can take the mick out of him for about 2 hours. It's always fun. April the 3rd, we have our charity for those that don't know.
I tell you what, call me a shill, but he's like the nicest guy in the world because we needle him constantly. When the show goes off the air, we go to Discord, we needle him there too, and he takes it totally in stride. So
mostly it's all about football, isn't it?
Footy, as you guys say.
Footy. Soccer. What was I saying? April the 3rd, our charity show, 8 hours of pure entertainment and donating for our chosen charity, which is going to be, this year is going to be Mind, the charity for mental health awareness. We've got a slate of things planned. I'm actually quite excited. We've got a Trek challenge where we're going to be quizzing people for a prize of actual cash prize. Yeah, go to the announcements, have a look up to that if you're interested in joining. WRG are joining, as Otto said. We're going to have a table read. We're going to read an episode with Shire Porn. We have a special guest coming on who I will announce sometime soon when we feel like it. But yes, we do have
announce in sub chat first.
We will. Yes, we will be announcing to our subs sooner than other people. So give you guys a little milk. But yes, no, it will be announced to everyone.
Actually, Milking folks is kind of going to be the theme of this episode, I think. So.
Why not
Ranging
start?
from my nipples to the new campaign track and everything in between.
I just remembered I've got to go save myself. I'm going to go.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, talking
Okay,
about milking,
first.
you know, we can just look up WRG and say we learned it from watching you. Okay. Let's spin the wheel, and we can see another one of my nice new layouts I worked out here. Oh, that's challenge. We don't want that. Let's spin the wheel. Thank you, everyone that submitted show titles this week. You have all got your place on the wheel here. Congratulations to Stars and Garters for actually winning with a huge margin. I'm not buying you a sub. Give one yourself and pay you enough.
It's alright, I don't want one. I hate
okay.
this show.
Let's spin that wheel. Nifty Middens! You win this week's sub, which we will sort you out when it is your time. Okay, hang on, I've moved all my buttons around, so I don't know where things are.
Yeah, in fact, you know what, Idol? Why would I want a sub? It's not like you give them anything.
Oh! Do my best. Do our best. But no, congratulations, Nifty. Okay, let's before I stop talking, let's talk about our event winners this week. Event winners in the
For
game.
podcast listeners, what's more disturbing? 76% say Idol's attractive female voice.
You don't like my
say
attractive female voice, do you? Maybe I'll do it for the whole
24%
show.
say my nipples. Okay.
Get the hell out of here, Hyacinth Bouquet.
Richard.
I said they don't want another Mother Horton.
Event winners.
Event winners, yes, congratulations to Space Junkie's very own Carpe Diem winning 5 of 5 confused drunk Archer stumbling out of his bedroom at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to find the toilet. Congratulations to you. So Bajoran claps all round. Other notable names: Blue Angel at number 6, AJ Warp 9 number 22, Walt Koenig number 24, Loki 29, James T. Kirk at 43, Cold at 46, Gazoo at 49. Congratulations to everyone in that top 50 and everyone that played the event. I hope you made good use of your 6 shuttles.
I believe Walt said that but you guys get 6 shuttles.
I meant, what is it? You get, there's like a limited pool you get in this, because it's a repeat of an existing event, isn't it? I don't know. I don't play faction events.
I believe Walt said this was
I don't know.
I think Walt said this was his best ever ranking. So
Oh, fantastic.
good for
Congratulations.
him.
Congratulations all round. Guys, talk to me about the hot new announcement for WRG that landed about an hour ago. What's with this new campaign track?
So all my love to Shan, she does it's a thankless job.
Is this one of those,
but
it's like, I don't want to be insulting, but...
It's a compliment sandwich.
Yes.
You start high, you go low, and you bring it up at the end.
Yeah. She does a thankless job, and she has a lot on her plate. She's out there working hard for that money, for that cheddar, for all those Archer mega variants, which someone was asking for.
Carmen.
And she put out an announcement with some somewhat unclear phrasing
It was
about
confusing,
the
wasn't it?
third campaign track, which is premium double uber, stack it high, double trimmings. Do you
took
want
me
another
yeah.
patty with that?
It took me a few
Like-
read-throughs to get it, but yeah, does someone want to
Let-
read out
yeah.
for us, please?
Let me attempt to summarize this in broken
Can you
English.
do it in my camp voice?
God, no, I can't. With our next client update, we'll be introducing a new purchasable track for campaigns. Each month along the reward... I'm trying to cut out the shield parts where they make it sound like good value. Each month, among the rewards for this new track, there will be a brand new legendary crew as part of a behold with 2 other random crew. I don't know if that means in Portal or truly random.
What I'm thinking of is, it's just going to be the behold. You'll get it, and you'll have your new.
This is the
crew,
real
and then-
plot twist. It's going to be a mixed rarity behold, and you'll get grey and blue crew in there
Okay,
as well.
let me get through this and then we'll talk about the rest. A brand new legendary crew as part of a behold with 2 other random crew, a unique captain avatar. With this addition, we'll also introduce a scheduled change. Campaigns will run from Tuesday to Tuesday rather than starting on Thursdays. For the occasion and for this one time only, which means don't ask again, the threshold rewards for the upcoming faction event next week will also include additional honor awards, which I think sum up to 60,000 honor.
In total, if you go to 400k in the event, you will have a total of 60,000 honor.
Okay. And then they give some dates for the 8.3 client rollout, so you can check that out if you want. So yeah, new
first
campaign.
things first. There's a lot to break down here, isn't there? First things first, like there's going to be a third track on the campaign. Now I think we spoke about this about a year ago. Like, what could they do? They'll probably put another tier on the campaign. I think other people are like, no, they never do that. There's just not enough value. But here we are. What do you think's going to be on it? Like, there's that part in the back of my brain that just went campaign boxes. Put the campaign boxes in there.
You fucking gremlin! Shut up.
That's negative value. I would pay less. I would pay more to have not campaign.
I would expect a refund. I would expect, honestly, maybe small amounts of quantum, maybe like 10 quantum, maybe. I would expect more packs, possibly. If they're really smart, and I doubt they'll do this, they would put event packs coinciding with the events, but God knows that'd probably go completely wrong.
Okay, this is not real, but here's what I think they will put on there. There's going to be trainers. There's going to be replicator rations. There's going to be ISM. Do you reckon? I think, I don't know. You got to think, like, they've got to either jump loads of credits, merits, your crew. They can't put the usual filler shit they do on the normal paid campaign track on there.
What if they started just putting in purple crew that were out of Portal?
Interesting. Don't know.
That'd be enticing. So I also have one other big takeaway from this, which is they heard the positive feedback from Scrooge Data being a campaign exclusive for a little while, and said, "Oh, you liked that, did you? Well."
Pull up in chat. Let me know what you guys think the price point will be for this. I'm going to guess 25, between 20 and 25. Because, I mean, not only do they make it sound like the goodies are going to be more than the regular 10, but also a new crew, which, I tell you what, let's just break that down. Because, it's one thing to have Tuesday packs, but we have the offer wall. People can get dilithium through other means. They can save up without spending. If you want a new crew, a new one a month, so 12 a year, you have to spend cold hard cash or stuff it for 16 to 18 months until you can retrieve them down the line. So, I mean, retrieval has solved a lot of ills in that sense, but the one thing that sits not right with me is it being a new crew every week. Because, I mean, you just know around month 4, it's going to be like, here's the new #1 Voyager by 15% over everyone else, and you better pay money if you want them.
I interpreted that as you'd get 4 out of 5 copies of a new crew, like Scrooge Data, not 4 new crew, as in one new crew every week.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I said per week. I mean, a new crew per month, but either way, that's still...
But you'll have... The interesting part of that is it's not a forced, you have to take this new crew. You might get a gold in it. Because what it sounds like, and this is where I think a lot of people are getting confused, is when you get that...
Well, it sounds like it'll be...
yeah, go on.
It'll be like a 6-pack Behold, where you don't get any of the crew along the side, but you get one of the crew that's in the pack, and then the other 2 will be random. Yeah. I assume that's how it works.
That's kind of what I was thinking as well. So,
which is
an
interesting way of going at it. Because that is literally a perfect Behold, because you could never get an All Frozen on that, really.
It'll probably just be only crew in the portal, but when you say random, that makes me think like, what about all the recent event crew and stuff, but...
Hey, look! It's Kalis in your Behold.
Like, I think that's something they should have done with the existing...
I can see it.
Yes. I
mean, we have Kal'Hyah Worf and Dabo, so we'll get to that later.
We'll get to that. It's an interesting proposition. I think they should have done that with the lower tier of the existing one you get now, where you get the option, because some campaign crew have been dire. Lenara Khan to the world. You look at that and go, well, I could get Lenara Khan, or actually, a star on 5 of 12. That's actually much more useful to it. So I think that's kind of a good idea, but I would wish they would do it with all of it. You get the option to have who is it? This Tribble Uhura at the moment, or you get you can have maybe someone that's more useful. And like you say, Stars, if it is all frozen, you're not shit out of luck. So I think maybe that should be transferred into the other tier as well. I think that's a good move.
That would be nice, actually. Or if you could just, I don't know if they have the infrastructure to do this. They probably don't. But when you reach tier 20 on the premium campaign, if you have that first pop of the gold, and then it gives you the 3, and then it's like, hey, you pick from one of these 3 crew, and whichever crew you pick is now locked in for the rest of the campaign, so you will get
that's
4 out of 5
interesting.
copies of them.
Build your
That'd
own
be an interesting way of doing it.
No, I would hate that. I would hate that. Because, I mean, what if you only need 2 stars of a crew, but
Then
the
don't
other
take that
choice
crew.
you need 4 of, but he's like awful? Then it just feels bad either way. Either you waste or
Yeah,
you
but
get a
you
bad
always say
crew.
follow the traits, so as long as they're awful but they got good traits, you shouldn't feel bad about it, right?
Well, no, that's not the point. I mean, if it's just like an awful crew, but you have to throw out 2 stars otherwise, then it just feels bad both ways.
Unless you can change it each time,
guess.
maybe. Maybe you take the first one, it impacts the next 3. You take the second one, it takes. Yeah.
You're making it too complicated. Just give us like a behold every 20, and then because
Just give me more. Give me more of everything.
if they're introducing this technology anyway for the Uber track, I don't know, what are we calling it?
Yeah.
Premium and
We should go. What is it? Captain
Unleaded.
Elite Epic, the Epic track.
No, it's the Admiral track, so it's going to be massively corrupt and probably try and kill a load of natives with a phaser.
Grimacing Moon in chat says there's going to be lots of trainers in the Uber track.
That would be a
and
bad
that's
move. If you've got to
probably
pay
very
more.
prescient.
I literally have to work to get rid of my trainers. Thank you, no.
Okay, so they are boiling the frogs, and I said this earlier today, but $5 for 3,000 dilithium, that's not so bad, even if you have to check in every day to get it. $15 for that, and the campaign, there's a lot of value in the campaign. People say biting them out of the crew, that's not so bad. Well, $40 a month now for the two tracks and the extra. I mean, that's not so bad, right? It's good value compared to these offers, right, guys?
Amazing value, one might say.
And before you know it,
Best
you're
value.
spending $500 a year, and suddenly you're the whale. You're the one that you've been laughing at for all these years about spending too much money on a mobile game. For podcast listeners, how much will Track 3, The Search for More Money, cost? Another 10, 58% say, $25, 30% say, or who cares? We want a new feature, 13% say.
Well, that 13% can go do one, because I don't think we're getting another new feature for at least another half a year.
I think $10
If
is
ever.
pretty optimistic because
Do you reckon
they make
they'll
it sound
bundle
like
Do
the
you think they'll
rewards are
do-
better.
They'll think they'll do what you can unlock this one, and you can unlock the other one later, or you can buy both now for a reduced cost of both. Like, that's the supermarket person in me talking.
Have they ever done that? Have they ever done that? I don't think they've ever done that.
This is a kind of unusual situation.
No, I don't think they'll bundle because if
Not
people
that way.
collectors, whales want the new crew, they're going to pay what they have to pay anyways. So,
Buy in bulk and save. Thank you, Nifty.
what if you buy a year's worth of campaigns ahead of time and they give you like 10% off? I wonder how many people would do that.
Oh, yeah, but without knowing what you're
No.
getting.
I shouldn't speak that
Saying
evil
that
out
is
into the world, but
Don't do this. Like, I'm the kind of person who looks at like that lifetime subscription deal on Star Trek Online, and I'm like, who the hell buys that?
I nearly did when it launched.
Yeah, I
There
know
you
you
go.
did.
Back when I was
Exactly.
young and
Exactly.
silly.
You are the problem.
I am the problem. I've always been the problem.
But here's the thing I like about you, Idol, is you may be the problem, but you're also, most of the time, the solution.
Yeah.
that's the nicest thing you've ever
Yeah,
said
I think
about
so.
it.
I don't know. Yeah. There are lots of things.
Don't get used to it.
It depends on what your opinion of the solution is.
The final one.
They also have a unique captain avatar.
Yeah, are they doing that every
I
month, or
assume
is
that's
that like
gonna
one
be-
time?
I think it's going to be a new one every month.
Weird.
Which I've
So-
always hated seasonal rewards in games. Like, if you weren't playing at the time, you can never get it again. I
Big
absolutely
FOMO,
hate
yeah.
those. So if they
You
do
know what
something
that
like
reminds
that,
me of? That reminds me of I can't remember what game it was, but I think it might have been a competitive first-person like shooter, where there was a certain skin you could earn by like doing a premium option like this, and then everyone in that community went out of their way to bully anyone that they saw wearing that skin and just insta kill and like team kill and bully the fuck out of them the instant they saw. Obviously, you don't have that chance to do that in this one because what's the worst they're going to do? They're going to attack you in an arena in Gauntlet. Oh no! But
they're
like,
going to send you harassing messages during skirmishes.
oh, I can't imagine.
Who would do that? Oh man.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is sort of like, look, I don't want to belittle anyone in the community, and I'm not saying this to anyone specifically, but spending money just to have a badge that says I spent money is a little bit like
Oh, yeah.
I've seen it in other games, like where you can buy supporter packs for like small indie companies or whatever, and then people do it for that. But for a mobile game, that's like, I mean, this is. I have a little bit of a fear that more than a little bit. I think we're in full on milk mode now. Between objective events, they're just still giving out fucking trainers and basic latinum as their rewards. To now Quantum Pass, to now Track 3, it's like, okay, when are we going to get something real in this game and not just, here's a way to do the same thing or to give us more money.
Well, I hate to break it to you all, but none of it's real.
So one of the best things I've ever seen, the best descriptions I've seen in this game is on the Something Awful forums, and they've got a thread for Star Trek Timelines on there, and it's just a phrase, a Dr. McCoy phrase, just saying, "I'm a PNG, Jim, not actual gameplay." I was like, that's brilliant.
That's about right.
That's very accurate.
Well, I mean, the game is in the spreadsheets, and it's in the Timelines talk streams, and it's in the Discord
in the
chat.
community.
Yeah, it's not actually in the game, which was down for how long today? About 40 minutes.
Yeah, they were quick on the response for that as well. We got our 250 crons and Voyage token fairly instantly, which if you haven't claimed it, check your inbox.
Yeah, because this one expires unlike the ones of yore.
Yes, you can't say
I
that.
hate that they started doing that, yeah.
As an aside, we asked Ben several interviews ago, why can't we have an option to revive voyages with either a token or dill? And, they don't want people doing long voyages, cheesing the early levels with dilithium. But I'll tell you something. I've been super stingy with my tokens, and if they had an option, I would have spent probably thousands of dilithium over the last, year and a half since we've had tokens. Just to, if I forget a voyage or something, I would revive it the first time and recall. But I'm not going to use my tokens just for...
Really?
What?
You spend dilithium on that? Who?
Why?
I just let the voyage die. I just recall
No, because it's okay. If you break it down, it's something like 200 dilithium for, all the rewards you get on the voyage, which is at that point, I don't know, 700-800 chronotons, a lot of honor, a lot of items. It makes more sense than pulling a single pack. I'll show you the math later if you want. But
Yeah, but voyage tokens don't do anything else. That's all they're good for.
they're for long voyages, though. If you need 25 of them. And if you use them all the time for that first revive, you're never going to get your 3-part purple cruise. So.
I've let Voyagers
I never get that anyway, so...
I've let Voyagers die. I've got to, the tragic 9:59, and then it's died, and because I haven't been watching it closely, and just kind of looked at it and just went, you know what, fuck it, just end it, I'll just start again.
How do we not have the let them die trigger? How do we not have that?
I'll add that to the list. Okay, new trigger list, because I always forget. I'm going to put that in the doc.
Look, all I'm saying, Stars, is you're arguing against choice. Therefore, you're the evil one in this conversation. So
I'm arguing for using the thing that's designed what it's used for. Mr. I got to the end of the RPG with 99 potions, because what if I need them for later?
Yeah, no, you're evil. All right, let's move on. What's next?
Okay.
Speaking of evil.
Speaking of... What? Okay, not quite.
Oh, we're going to talk about Archer now?
Not yet. Not yet. So, eagle-eyed people may have noticed in the event track for next week's event, where you can win Esteemed Curzon, who we'll get to, at the 400k mark, instead of there being a crew like you would find in a rerun event, there's in fact 40,000 honour, the exact same amount you would need in an honour sale.
Coincidence? I think not!
So they added 60,000 because there's a few chunks of 5,000. There's one of 10,000 as well.
Oh well, that's just a coincidence then.
No, yeah, but still, giving us enough. I mean, this is great. This is what everyone looks at and kind of goes, actually. And I said it myself. I said, brilliant. I'll actually rank in this event. 40,000 honours, nothing to be sneezed at. That's a decent chunk of change. But does this lead credence to the fact? And I'm gonna bring up our faithful watcher, moderator, listener, Timelines Talks historian Jen Osidanian, who has done a little bit of research on the last few honour sales to work out the intonations between each one. And he has predicted...
He's been hard at work at the Mannheim Institute, crunching numbers, observing graphs, looking forward, backward, and sideways through time. And what's the conclusion he's come to, Idle?
I think within the next couple of weeks, he has said in March, definitely, there is due to be an honour sale if they keep on track for their releases that they have. So the coincidental timing of them giving away 40,000 honour around this time, kind of, it's great. It's a lovely thing just to say, here you go, have a free what we call ABC, Awesome Beholden Sight, the 40k honor thing. You know, yeah, it's a nice thing, but also a little bit of a giveaway, maybe. I don't know. What do you think? Do you guys in chat? Do you guys think what do you think of this 40k? Will you go to 400k for that extra bit of honor, or are you a bit nonplussed?
I think their whole shtick so far has been to try to avoid being regular and figured out. So I wouldn't say we've had 6 honor sales. The first 3 were not predictable or on a certain deadline. The last 3 have been kind of regular, but I mean that doesn't mean that the next one is going to be. I think that's a little bit of a reach because their whole shtick is, you know, they don't want players to know when to dump their honor. They want to make them hold out a little bit longer, have them use their honor, then make them buy the honor deals during the sale. So I think doing it regularly is net negative for them. It might be better for us, but I feel like, you know, you think about the credit Davos sale. And they're trying to milk players dry before they get them to buy stuff. So,
to be fair, I think they probably owe us some honor off the repeated fuck ups over the last few months. So you know, maybe it's bad for them, but it's good for us because I've not been massively impressed by their showing recently. I think they've had their ups and their downs, but it's like the fact that the game went down and like
I don't think that was their fault. I think that was
today as well.
Yeah. I think a lot of the game. There's a lot. I mean, Discord went down yesterday for a brief period. There's been a lot of sort of global outages anyway, but I won't put the blame on that.
When do I get my honor from Discord for that one?
Yeah,
get your free
bit nitro in mine there. Yeah,
but I don't know. I think it kind of leads credence to what Ben was saying early on, where he got lauded for, you know, saying the whole "don't hoard things," you know, which he sort of pedaled back, and we know. But I think it kind of leaves credence that they want people to have that regular spend of honor, and they know that's why they've been adding more honor hall crew on a more frequent basis. This is why they've been doing more honor sales. They want to be able to drive the purchase of honor through playing more events, through buying more of the honor deals they have with the honor sales. So I think, yeah, them being regular with that isn't so much detrimental to them because they can monetize it in a way. This is a horrible sentence, I have to say, but it's true. He's out of line, but he's right.
Yeah, us just getting a new honor hall crew might probably convince me more than anything that we could have an honor sale coming up soon.
100k honor down the drain. Look, you might as well spend it. Oh wait, there's honor sales. Here, go buy some. You already spent on Kal'Hyah Worf. He's shit. Quick, push the button, make it better.
I can't wait. I can't wait till we get the honor hall collection because we're gonna spend 4 hours on the show talking about that.
Shut up,
it's coming. It's happening.
Don't do it.
I don't know whether or not I'll be vindicated or just like lambasted for having been ahead of the curve and having Captain Beverly Picard, and I'll be like, yeah, I saw this coming.
Okay, you can have an honor hall collection, but all it gives you is a new avatar. I'm not having bonuses from an honor hall collection. That would be...
All right, Malibu Stacy fan, get out of here.
Okay, but what if the avatar is of Mae Jemison?
Oh, you got him there.
Son of a bitch.
Evans of Wales in chat says it's not a coincidence. It's for they're celebrating the new campaign track. No more honor sales. Don't bring that evil honor sales. Actually, I did say earlier this week I wouldn't have minded if they had never done honor sales because before then you could just spend when you wanted to. You didn't feel compelled to hoard. You didn't feel like, okay, I've had my week of fun. Now it's back to the grind for another however many months. So you can't put the genie back in the bottle.
It felt like that when there was like a year between the honor sales, when we all, back for the last charity day, when we all had like 1.3 million honor, and loads of people were just putting loads of packs left and right, and then you thought, oh, right, another year's worth of grinding. That made us feel exhausted. But having this regular cycle does feel more alleviating. I don't know.
Shia Porn says you can still spend whenever you want. That's why you're not on the show, dude. You have no clue what you're talking about. You must save for every honor sale, and if you spend a drop outside of it...
optimize perfectly, you're playing the game wrong.
Wrong.
And also, Idol, I know your doctor has been telling you need to be more regular, so you know.
That's true. I'll eat more prunes. Prune juice, a warrior's drink.
A warrior's drink.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Should we not delay the inevitable? This is what everyone's come for. Guys, there is a new #1 Voyager. So soon after the triumph of fencing Picard over his longtime adversary, Captain Braxton, Camping Archer is here with the dog, which honestly people are probably going to get this for the dog than Archer, but most of all because he is another fairly bland number 1 Voyager.
It can't be an Archer hidden Porthos, because if you put him on a Voyage, you can't see him.
Yeah. Yeah, I immortalized Zindi Aquatic Counselor not long ago, and Otto just sent me a gif of a guy just like sinking underneath the waves, sort of doing a thumbs up, because you can't see that fucker. You can't see that fucker in the screenshot. You just have to go by the text. They really need to work on that. So, that doggo is adorable.
Look at him. He's so happy to be there. It's the only person that smiles when he sees Archer.
Archer takes Porthos on a research mission to a Class M planet, later known as Archer 4. Okay, first of all, that's baloney. He didn't take him on a research mission. He took him down the shuttlecraft to run around and get some fresh air, and then he belittled T'Pol for running scans for the next 20 minutes. He's like, "Put your tricorder away, smell the fresh air." So,
I feel like the Enterprise, like the little ball caps, like I get what they're about. I get what they're meant to symbolize, but they really just they epitomize everything I don't like about, especially early season Enterprise, where it's all very American. It's all very, look, let's go out there and do it that way, and it's like,
Pull in chat, guys.
Don't be dicks to the
dude,
Archon.
the episode "The Omega Glory" from TOS, they literally bring in an American flag with the anthem blaring in the background, and then the Canadian actor Shatner reads off, like, what is it, the Bill of Rights, whatever. He reads it off to everyone. Dude, you want to talk about Americanized? Like, come on.
Yeah, but it's also like, I don't know, especially with the Enterprise, it being that episode came out in 2001. I would have hoped that there would have been a bit more of a, a slightly more, well, I was going to say a slightly more also cosmopolitan, maybe just a bit more of an enlightened way of going about it. But I know that's A, not the point of Enterprise, and B, Enterprise is also kind of stupid, so it was never going to get that. So, it's definitely the most meat-headed of all the treks, I feel like.
Well, one of the things I like about Archer is that he doesn't feel like an established captain. He feels like a guy, that they picked to be like the first captain or whatever, and he's feeling his way through it, and he makes a lot of dumb mistakes, and he has a lot of dumb prejudices, which, in itself is sort of Americanized as a way, but he just powers through it, and he still can rally the crew behind him when he needs to. So I like that part about Archer.
I think I would like the journey more if it felt like it was constantly going toward that. Like if he was constantly learning and admitting that he'd fucked up, as opposed to 1 in every 10 episodes where Archer fucks up, he admits, okay, I messed up. Other times it's, oh, I wasn't wrong, it was that alien, or whatever. The Vulcans did it. Oh, my dad. Ugh. Jeez.
Yeah.
So, hold on, a few things. First of all,
questions, sir.
Oh, yeah, why am I remembering things?
I wrote down in the show notes. Where did I put it? I put, is this the right
question,
crew?
sir?
Anyway.
I put, is this the right crew? ? And I was going to kind of lambaste them, because my first thought was, oh, good. They take, they take a friggin' pet, put it in a Tuesday pet, put absurd stats on them, because, hey, people like pets or whatever. And I'm like, come on, that's kind of like, they kind of work backwards in giving him 1 or 2 traits that he doesn't really display in the episode, because they want to make him a good crew. But then the more I thought about it, I thought, Archer's overdue for a great card. And this actually might be the perfect number 1 Voyager. Okay, if you can appeal to the pet dog and cat people, that's fine. I mean, we all play games for whatever reason. If you want to collect those cards, more power to you. Secondly, Archer himself needed better. He didn't get a single event until 2018. Janeway had 9 events before Archer got his first one. So, they forgot he exists, and how many bad cards has he had? Even, Twilight Archer, who they just released, is, at
pretty
best.
awful, yeah.
And, Stars, you can attest to this. The one kind of great gold variant he's had so far, Humbled Archer, if I had to pick a single crew in all my years of giving advice in this game, that if I had to talk people harder into, it's probably been Humbled Archer, because like the power was there, he had a lot of great attributes, and I'm like, no, really, he is worth citing. People are like, I don't really need Dip, or I don't know, or maybe they'll forget Archer again, and it's like.
I think, yeah, that's one of those decisions that I legitimately look back on, and it was a bet with Big, and I can't remember who he immortalized on this bet, but I know for a fact that he got shafted, because I picked Humbled Archer and he picked someone else, and Humbled Archer is still making Voyages, he's still got that ridiculous dip base, he's still working it, and he is still a really good card, and like that's a good place for a main series, like I wish all main series characters had that was quite powerful. Like God knows Reed could use something like that instead of fucking Suliban. Yeah, this is a decent pick, I suppose, for because it is the first. Is it one of the first like big deep space kind of missions for the?
Well,
it makes sense.
That's a third point that I kind of want to get to. This I think is episode 3, and. It's the microcosm of Star Trek. They land on their very first planet after shipping out, and everyone's eager to explore. And who's going to be on the away team? Like people actually wanted to go down to the planet and explore and do that stuff. And Archer is sort of the whatever else you want to think of him as a knuckleheaded captain. He definitely had the spirit of exploration in him,
and optimism,
as did Enterprise. So. You're hitting the stats nerds, you're hitting the animal lovers, you're hitting the spirit of Trek kind of people. So the more I thought about it, I thought, this kind of is the perfect crew to make a banger of a card. And I'm glad that they picked him by the end of the day. And I really didn't think that when I first saw him.
Yeah, no, I have my opinions on Archer, but I have to admit that as a pick for a number 1 Voyager, this is a good, thematically appropriate, which is rare for WRG, so well done on that. A thematically appropriate crew for a number 1 Voyager, arguably more so than Fencing Picard. Yeah. I'm going to say it.
But like you say, main cast with good Voyage stats always makes people happy, really, doesn't it? You want to see your favourite character you see on the screen every week as a good card in your game. The minor characters like Captain Braxton, which is, fine. He is the number 1 Voyager, kind of almost rightfully so, but it is a bit of a weird pick for him to be sat up there so long with the likes of Boothby Replicant and Breen disguised Kira.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we do also have to pull this back because, we are WRG shills, but we have to hide it. So, as noted, beloved Big McLeod pointed out, so dive into a 6-pack for him. I cannot, in good conscience, recommend that you go after this crew, no matter what his positives are. Not just because you should never do 6-packs, not just because he's Archer, but because he is. What's the exact order here? Command Dipsai. You have. I'm pointing at you, person, watcher, listener. You have Lieutenant Sahil 4 out of 5. He is the majority of this card's Voyage strength in most respects. Really. The sidekicker, that doesn't really matter in the long run. You will get this skill set from... In fact, you just got this skill set from 21st Century Q. There'll be another giveaway. There'll be another mega crew. There will be someone coming along that will fulfill this niche. And in real terms, this Archer represents, at best, a 1 or 2% increase on that card's real power. And you don't have to go diving into a 6-pack for them.
I'll put a pull-up in chat. For whatever reason, it censors the word creep. So how do you feel about power creep? Too fast, not fast enough, or Goldilocks just right? And I kind of had this conversation earlier in Discord. Someone saying, someone said, I'm going to quit if they keep edging out low spending players. I want to feel like I can compete. And I'm in the camp that power creep is happening it's too slow. 38 months. We've had 2 new top Voyagers. This last one, Archer, is 0.04% stronger than Fencing Picard. 0.04%. And they've done that twice in 38 months. Now, I understand, you're playing on forums or in Fleet or whatever, and 4 other people post their immortalized Archer screenshots in chat. you're like, oh my God, I'm missing out, right? I know if I tried, it's going to take me 40 pulls to get them. I don't want to risk it, this or that. I understand the psychic damage that does. But, 0.04% as opposed to collections. We get a new collection every month. It's been 18 months with a new collection. Let's say you can get up to the 10 or the 25 threshold. The whales have already gotten up to the 80 threshold. They're getting more bang for their buck. They're getting extra 3% over what you got. And every new crew that comes out, their better global boosts are going to make them go further on voyages than yours will. They're going to do better on shuttles than yours will. So it's like, I understand the psychological aspect of a new crew being hard to obtain and stuff, but if you're asking me, Tuesday packs, yeah, I hate to say it, but it's kind of just right in terms of maybe a little bit too slow, but it's like, if you want to keep the game going, let the people who want to chase 0.04% increases pay their dilithium. And, if there's anything problematic with stat creep, I think it's starting to become collections, even though they are kind of fun for everyone.
And don't worry, people who miss out on him. He'll be available in a limited time offer in 6 months anyway.
Yeah,
and retrievable.
Yeah. I'd like to point out something that Nobleman just said. It's like FOMO, fear of missing out, for those that don't know the acronym, is a real illness. And it is, and I've seen plenty of people going, I'll just do a couple of pulls on this, or, and then I'll end up doing more and more and more and more until, pulls. And this is very much, the reason of pulling blind packs for a good crew is you feel like you are missing out, and it's something you do not need to do for this archer. You will be able to retrieve him quite easily in 8 months' time when the portal updates, or maybe a bit longer if you're willing to wait. But like Star says, he'll probably be an LTO at some point. This is what we say: don't do 6-packs, kids, unless you're insane like us. Know what you're getting in for. Like, fear of missing out is something you should look at yourself and go, am I feeling like I need him because everyone else is getting these good pulls? Because what do? When you get a card like this, you go and instantly post it on Discord or Facebook or your friends or wherever that also play the game, and then other people do that. And by retrospect, you're seeing about 4 or 5 people posting in the row, and you think everyone's got it but me. But that's not the case. This is not the case. Like, there are hundreds of people that don't. So for the sake of
what you don't see is the people posting their screenshots of, here are my 40 packs. No fucking archer. So guess what? That's depressing. They feel bad posting it, and you'd feel bad looking at it.
Exactly. This is where we plug our mental health charity for April the 3rd.
That's very true. Yes, we are supporting a mental health charity, but yes.
I want to hear from you guys what you think about power creep, because especially during the winter of 2021, where every single week was like an awful. And we're sitting here thinking these 2018 cards are literally better than what they're releasing 3 years later. So we're not quite there, but where we're at now, do you feel like this is sustainable? Do you think it's maybe too slow or too fast? What do you guys think?
I'm happy because I've seen a few posts on the forum from various people that say like, oh my god, another card that's absolutely crap. But over the last few months, we've had some cracking crew come out. We've had the ancient humanoids, the fencing Picards, the Lieutenant Sahils. We've had a few duffers like Kal'Hyah Worf and 25th Century Q, but
Daemon Solok.
But overall, we are seeing a lot more crew with more power. I'm happy that they are pushing that because it makes the game interesting in the long run. Because you don't want to keep seeing people's bridge crews with the same photos. You don't want to see people's arena lineups that are all the same. I want people to be able to diverge in certain ways, and especially in the top ranks of the Voyager ranks, which everyone's pushing that 12-hour voyage, being able to say like, oh, I've got this lineup and I've got 12-hour voyages, and it's completely different to someone else's lineup that has also a 12-hour voyage. And on top of that as well, my point, which I've now just forgotten. No, it's gone. Shit, I'll come back to it. But yes, no, I'm happy that there is not necessarily creep, but I'll tell you what my point was. I just wish, my one complaint is that, like we've said before, they are all the same skill set. It's command dip something, it's command sep something. Like, would it kill for the number 1 Voyager to be Eng Med Psi, or Eng Med Command, or Med Command dip, something like that? Something rare and unique. That's the next step, is to make
idle.
Get those
idle.
Up.
That's physically impossible. If they try and do it, the servers will break. The servers will explode into a million smithereens.
For those who are worried about not having the best crew, I personally hit a Voyage best length while having 18 shuttles out during a faction event. This last week, Carpe Diem, who won the event, posted their 12-hour Voyage screenshot while they were leading the event with I don't know how many, all their shuttles out. So when you think about it that way, if you lop off 20, 30 of your best crew and you're still able to produce best, like it's RNG that's killing you. It's not because you don't have that 0.04% better crew that could take you over the edge. And maybe they do, but it's that the margins are so narrow. It's easy to see this crew's just better. Well, they're better, but it's by such a small margin. It doesn't even matter.
It depends how much patience you have. Okay, you can retrieve all the crew you need to get a good stack of collections with good bonuses finished, and also retrieve a good set of top 50 voyagers in various skill sets and all different skill pairs and triplets to do a 12-hour voyage. The rest is luck. You can do that without spending a single thing. You just need patience to retrieve the quantum, to claim your free pack at the end of things, and get your galaxy packs, or go for the right event crew, and you can do all that now. Like, there is no need to spend money on it. No need to go off to someone like Camping Archer. If you're thinking, he'll get me a 12-hour voyage, he probably won't. But yeah.
The stars. What do you think about power creep? Too much, too little, just right?
I think that they've been smart to make sure to keep it because it would be exhausting and also probably bad for the state of health of the game if it went too fast. Like, if it was every other week you had a new number 1, number 2, and number 3. Like, they've been doing a decent job of spacing out. Sometimes they space it out a little bit too far. I would prefer more crew like Union Q or Kal'Hyah Worf over stuff like Captain Saru, for example. Like, and I say Captain Saru, the Command Psi variant from a while back. I'd rather interesting diversification than either garbage or ultra power. But I think I generally tend to agree with Idle. I would prefer just a little bit more diversity in the top ranks. Like, the fact that we still don't have a med command. Yeah, no, tonight's weird. I might be coming down with something. The fact that we don't have a med command crew, like an actual med command crew above rank 120-ish, I feel like.
No, Spock and I charter pegged her, I think, but
no, I don't think so anymore. I think he's worse.
Not for Voyage rank.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for Voyage rank. Yeah, like that's weird to me. Like, why do we not have at least a top 20 med command Voyage? And it feels like this. I kind of tend to also agree with Otto. It's the case of you could very well speed up if you wanted to, but it feels like they're disinclined to do so. And it kind of makes me wonder, just do they think of these time periods in terms of, this is a holding pattern, now we'll release some good crew because they want it. This will be a period to put out, here's a real good banger, and then we can afford to, do the nuts for winter period. And it's I have to wonder what the reasoning is behind it, because going so long with Captain Braxton as number 1, and then fencing Picard, and then was whoa! And then Captain Archer. It's okay, well, why? What's the reasoning behind that gap there? I don't quite understand the logic behind it.
Ranarian in chat says, this game is way too easy to level crew and make it much of an issue. There are games where you need to spend months getting crew to the top levels. Power creep kills you because it was a completely wasted effort. I think yes and no. I think yes, because areas like Gauntlet and maybe events certainly gives you a marginal slight advantage, but in terms of if you're looking for the 12-hour voyage, if you're looking for improved sort of event performance, that's very much a personal thing. You're not competing with anyone. There are certainly things you can do now to achieve your best. So it depends on your personal goal as whether that affects you or not. Are you going to be more competitive with people or are you not? It's a game of two halves, really.
And instantly, I want to pick on some points in chat, just interesting ones, because they both came right after each other. Sharpone asks, why is Fencing Picard still ranked ahead of this Archer in Big Book Voyage ranks? And, dovetailing on that, Captain Braxton is still my number 1 Voyager, even though I have the other top Voyagers except for this Archer. So,
because he's that good.
Those questions are kind of interlinked, because if you look at Captain Archer's Camping Archer's traits, they are not the best. They are okay. You've got Communicator, you've got Survivalist, they do pop up in various different seats. But the reason why specifically Fencing Archer is ranked ahead is because he has slightly more and ones that appear better in those permutations of the antimatter traits, I believe, which is when you're dealing at the infinitesimal difference between these crew, as Otto pointed out, the traits matter. The traits genuinely do matter. So that's why he's still ranked above in terms of ranking, if not raw power. And Captain Braxton is arguably still the number one Voyager, if only because he has a more unique skill set. Command Eng is unlike almost all of these other top ranked crew, where it's always Command Dip Psi or Command Psi Sec. It's always some variation on that, whereas Command Eng feels like almost like an aberration, like that kind of diversification of crew. Like, I almost want to be inclined to say that if they released a crew with Med Command or Sec Med that had like maybe like rank 4 or 5 with just the right trait set, you would see that Big Book put them over even everyone else, because even though we are getting these infinitesimal inching up of power, it's not going quickly enough and it's not diverse enough for it to be felt by anyone other than the real big spenders. That's probably like that's what my opinion on it anyway.
So my explain like I'm 5 explanation of this is, since someone asked specifically about the Big Book, if you look at the Voy rank column, it has the scores there. So with full bonuses, Camping Archer and Porthos is 24 points higher than Fence and Picard. But an antimatter trait match is on average about 80 to 100 points more. So would you rather have someone who's consistently 20 points more, or when they trait match, which, you know, is 15-20% more often, 80 to 100 points more? So yeah, if you look at their ratings, they're extremely close. They are 0.04 out of 10, you know, so they're essentially very equal. But yeah, I mean, that's like the whole point, is we're kind of splitting hairs on these crew. It's like, is that worth 50,000 dilithium to get that tiny little increase? You know, maybe not. Maybe try to get some richer collection crew or not. But as an aside, why we talk so much about voyages, at least me personally, is it's very easy for me now to staff shuttles that all end up at 98, 99%. There's an upper limit, and there's diminishing returns in shuttle formulas. So each percent success after the next one requires even more base to get there. So I really like that voyages are uncapped. You know, theoretically in 5 years we're running 16-hour voyages or something. So it's a better like test of the upper end of your crew. And I think like Namer said earlier, in Gauntlet it's similar there. That's uncapped and it's even more PvP. So the advantage is their way a little bit more.
Yeah, well, that's the big draw of Voyages, is that it's a lot more strategy and a tactical. You can feel the difference in improving your Voyage crew more tangibly than you can with your with your arena crew. You can event crew not so much. You might find like a 1% difference in one variant of Archer to another in galaxy crafting, or in like shuttles, but it's not that feasible. Whereas if you go from, say, running a 5 out of 5 EV suit Archer to a Maquis takeover Siska, or God forbid, Captain Braxton, you feel that. You feel that difference in your heart of hearts, and you see that difference in your Voyage rankings, and you get that feeling of, well, I did that. I made that intentional choice to go after that crew because they get to fill that Voyage seat. And it's a similar thing with Gauntlet, where I'm in a 45% Gauntlet set for Union Q at the moment, and getting to see everyone at the higher ranks using that crew, I made the conscious decision to go in and get 2 copies because I knew he was good in Gauntlet, and lo and behold, the only reason I'm holding water at the top ranks of that Gauntlet is because I have that crew. And I get to feel like, well, yeah, I obviously had to grind for it, and like how much that effort counts for whatever is, it's a mobile game, that's a discussion that can go on forever. But in the end, that is a decision I made that other people didn't. So I get to have that feeling of satisfaction.
Looking at chat, and the thing that's been bubbling over.
It's all about EPing, really.
Yeah, there is that as well. Yeah, your bridge crew shot that you do, yes. But when they look at other solar systems, far away, like through the Hubble telescope, hopefully the James Webb telescope will give us some pictures soon. Look at solar systems, and they think, right, this is the right kind of solar system to habit life, and what they have is something called the Goldilocks zone. The Goldilocks zone, where is the perfect distance from the local body to support life. Braxton is one of those crew that is in that Goldilocks zone because he has the right skill match, he has the right trait match, and he has the right amount of power to be guaranteed on every single one of your fucking voyages, as opposed to sort of Fencing Archer or Camping Archer, who were kind of like, yeah, they got a common skill set, they've got their detriments, there's nothing. And what are you laughing about?
Someone in chat is calling Racquetball O'Brien Nut Hugger O'Brien because his shorts are so tight.
Oh my gosh.
You can count the change in his pockets. Yeah.
But yeah, no, similar to Dexter and Prisoner Kim and people like that. But yeah, go on.
One last thought to wrap this up.
Yeah, Cranky, Fencing, Archer, and Camping Picard. That's the crew we're talking about right now.
Because, I'm glad chat's perking up at this, because this is the kind of stuff, like, in Big Book Chat that we've spent, like, hours per day talking about for years, and we just never get tired of the little minutia stuff. So, but, not everyone's into that. So before we move on, I'll just say that when they announced Torpedo Surgeon McCoy, this was before we got the stats and stuff. So you only knew the name for the week before the event started. We were all theorizing, okay, well, he's got to have med, right? He's Dr. McCoy. He's got to have engineering, right? He's performing surgery on a torpedo.
Gotta have sec.
He's got to have sec. It's a fucking torpedo. They're getting blown out of the sky by a Klingon. Even his lines are all charmingly, irritatingly McCoy. Yeah. So that's got to be a skill set, right? And I'm thinking, if they made him a great Voyager, if he was a top 3 Voyager, I was already saving my deal. I was counting out how many.
You were ready. I remember. You were.
I was
going to
make 3 copies at once, and then not only was it Engimed Psi, where's the Psi come from? But they made him like Voyage 100 something. I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'll get 1 in the event or 2 in the event. And it's like, you can't do it all the time, but once in a while you can. You can print a Dexa more than, once every year and a half, 2 years. You can print a baller torpedo surgeon McCoy and get players to shell out for that. So I wish they'd do that just a little more often than they do.
I also feel like we were talking about how Archer got his due, and this is a really good Archer variant, which it is. This is good that he gets one. Can we please do this for some other crew? There are some, especially for Enterprise, there are some real shit crew that deserves way better variants than what they've got.
Dude, Pregnant Tucker as Med-Eng is just like begging for Med-Eng.
I want it real bad.
Yeah, Med-Eng 2 skiller. Monkey pork closes.
I don't think I'd even. You know what? Make him a Med-Eng 2 skiller, but make him really gauntlet capable. That'd be weird.
Be interesting.
Okay.
Like, give him like 1,000 gauntlet rolls.
For podcast listeners, how do you feel about power creep? 72% say just right, 16% say not fast enough, 12% say it's too fast.
Too fast. Okay, moving on. Otto, please tell us about traits and Laris and why this is important right now.
Yeah, so a few people mentioned that they leveled up Investigator Lars, the 4-star, for the objective event, and it wasn't counting for level Picard crew. Well, lo and behold, they picked the one Picard crew who didn't have that hidden trait, and that's the trigger, I guess, that WG uses to make sure it counts for the objective event. So they did add that in this update, and they also added the organic trait, which is whatever. The important thing, the interesting thing is they added the animated series crew hidden trait to Rescue Team Uhura. And that actually is her from the Lorelei signal, the TAS episode. And in conjunction with something posted on Discord, a art banner for a animated series collection. So, one thing is interesting. The two things together are smoke, and where there's smoke, there's fire. So, I mean, we've seen art banners for hologram collection, a musician collection. Those never happened, but these two things happening side by side makes me think that we might get an animated series collection pretty soon.
Yeah.
Now, here's the question. Sorry, go on, Stas, you go first.
No, I was going to say, so Big points out doesn't really help the players that already leveled up for the objective event. I'm pretty sure if you contact customer service, they might be able to sort something out for you, because that is a legitimate snafu, and they'll probably be able to fix that for you.
Now, here is the question: if we are getting a TAS collection, is this going to be just TAS, or is this going to be all animated? And you know where I'm going with this. Is this going to include lower decks? if that's even fucking coming.
There's a Lower Decks mobile game out there, not made by at least. So guess what? Lower Decks not coming, never coming, ever. Get fucked. Now, I think Shai pointed out correctly.
Oh shit, just bashed my desk.
Jesus Christ. Shai rightly points out 2 out of 3 of those crew in that animated banner look great. Why the fuck did you pick Lara?
Front and
I
center,
would have
Hanna-Barbera.
preferred. Why would have preferred Captain Robert April? I honestly would have. Why not rescue Team Uhura since you just added her to this obvious collection? Her art looks great.
Why not EM3 green?
He's not cowardly. He's just very tired and sad.
Dude, that is. I love that
Culkin!
card, man.
Culkin!
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gesundheit.
the serpent trait or the art on that serpent is like it's pretty damn cool. So actually, I think because he was in a 490 pack a while back, discount pack, and I heard a few people pull him just for the art. So
Yeah,
It's a valid reason to do it. Because look at Maress. Don't she look great?
Oh, looks amazing.
She looks great.
Chuffed Captain, fantastic. His item tree, impeccable. Lara, the only reason people got her was for a gauntlet pair, and that's it.
Yeah.
dude,
Every time I see her in Gauntlet, I get annoyed.
if we are getting lower decks, then they're gonna make it its own collection probably. Because
I could see it.
so this is gonna be the first series. There's a dam, and I'm wondering if it's ever gonna break. Are we ever going to get 4-star super rare collection? Or are we ever going to get Voyager collection? Because this could be potentially massive. I think a DS9 collection would have almost
Oh, God,
200
there's
or
like
over
150.
200.
I've got 8.
Yeah, I remember seeing the
check
last
that.
breakdown I saw of the crew by series. Like DS9 was still up ahead.
Let me have
Yeah,
a look,
so-
because I'm tracking that, so hang on.
Plus, something like a legendary collection would be huge. What, 500 or something? So yeah, you have to wonder where they stop.
I'm tracking up to... Oh, I'm out of date a bit, actually. I'm only tracking up to Zaban, Mournful Elmol, and Security Laris, so I'm a little bit out of date. But at current counts, DS9 is in the lead with 210 cards, followed by TNG with 202, Voyager with 183, Discovery with 123, the original series with 117, Enterprise with 105, Films, which includes the Next Gen and TOS films, as 102, and then Picard at 32, and then Short Trek Taz and Original at 16, Comics at 6. So yeah, DS9 way in the lead.
So I count 17 task crew in game.
I'm probably out of date because I haven't got someone.
Are they just doing a 1, 5, 10 threshold like normal, or are they going maybe with the originals route and doing every other crew? It's like vanity rewards, or maybe they, do the bada bang, and if you can complete 15 of them or something, then you get a new crew. I don't. What do
Who
you
would you
guys
want
think?
it to be?
Probably another task crew, right? So some.
Well, yeah,
Taz
well,
Kirk.
I'm not versed enough with it to know who's.
Taz Kirk is an interesting one.
Well, like one of the
I
main
wouldn't
Taz
mind,
Spock. Well, we already got Taz.
I was going to
Spock,
say time travel. I was going to say time traveler Spock from the yesteryear. Because we've got Spock and Aikshire. We need what's his name? He's like cousin whatever in that thing.
Solok or something like that. So say something.
All right,
Just
Taz,
keep making
Giant
sir
Spock's a
noises.
good
It'll get
one, I
there.
like that.
Taz fans, help us out. Giant Spock, Aqua Shuttle, Asmodeus.
You
Are you
get
guys
the,
just saying random words, or are these actually in Taz?
You need to watch Taz.
You know
Watch
what?
Taz. You'd love it.
You should get schematics for the inflatable blow up Enterprise.
Oh no, that weird Starfleet like cruiser ship that looks like it's like all points and nothing else. Cousin Oliver. Cousin Selleck, is it? Maybe. Oh no.
So recent Taz crew who people might have: Score to Char, Lara, Commander Deimos.
I mean, there hasn't been a purple
Maret-
Taz crew not in a Tuesday pack for quite some time, possibly
A while. Well, yeah, the
Thalen?
last one would have been Thalen.
Yeah.
Going back by date, it's Orion Captain, Demos, Scorchar, Lara, Spock and Ichaya, Kukulkan, Chuffed Captain, and everyone's favorite Captain Tribble. If you're one short, maybe you buy Tribble, who's already in 3
no,
collections.
okay, hang on. Does this come out before an honor sale? Because if it does, people look at it and go, haha, I will spend 100,000 honor on Captain Tribble and complete the collection, hurrah! And then they go, shit, it's an honor sale. Fuck.
Well, see,
Evans,
the easy solution there is never spend honor.
Yes.
if Evans was right, we're not getting any more honor sales. So Maybe.
Maybe.
Oh God! UK Loki HS meme confused Kirk. If we can get him going, I would unironically adore that. Yeah, no, just like I would fucking love that. I'm not a massive Kirk fan. I would move heaven or hell for that art.
Tasmud.
All right.
Tasmud. They could. Oh, what though? That's still Roger.
Yeah.
Was that still what's his
no.
name? The actor played Mud in the original. Did he?
Yeah,
voice...
but it's not like this, right? Is it?
Roger Cornell.
I don't
It's
know.
an animated representation. It's not the same thing.
Is it not?
Yeah,
I wouldn't think so.
Was it
Cyrano
voiced by him?
Jones as well, maybe.
Oh yeah, Cyrano Jones. Yeah.
Cyrano Jones. Sorry.
Okay, as an aside, if we're talking about meme characters, I want to shout out WRG for absolutely butchering Caldo's Floor Crusher. Her arena ability is breaking tradition. Her flavor
It should have
text,
been.
the flavor text for Ghost Fucker Crusher is Beverly Crusher encounters an anaphasic life form tied to a family heirloom. Like, could they PG that anymore?
Yeah.
Then come on.
The
You
arena
know
ability-
this is a total meme character. Just roll with it. Like, you don't have to have Ronan picture it in the scene doing unspeakable things to her, but like at least put a
I
little
would
more
have loved
flavor in.
it if the flavor text had been Beverly Crusher discovers a particularly interesting
Chapter in her
journal.
grandmother's
PG
journal.
way.
Exactly. It's like then the kids who are playing the game like, oh, I wonder what that's about. It's like, no, don't watch that.
Oh, there is a great. There's I need to actually look it up a bit further. There's a great TNG edit, and it's someone's photoshopped himself wearing a Starfleet uniform, sitting at the bar at 10 forward, and behind him, and he's green screened it really well, so he looks like he's in the scene. And behind him is Beverly and Troy talking about that scene. She goes, "I just read this particularly erotic part in my grandmother's journal." And he's sitting there having his drink, and just going, "What the fuck are they talking about?" It's so well done. It's really good. I can't remember who it
That
is, but I
reminds
need to
me
look
of those wonderful intakes where they take the
Yeah.
bloopers out and put them back into TNG.
Oh, yeah.
There's one of Wolf and Geordie doing a high five, and I've got it as one of my favorite GIFs on Discord. I just love using it so much.
Rev DeMar in chat says I have to get CBS to sign off on it though. I think they only sign off on the art. I can't imagine flavor text. Dude, if CBS signed off on some of the flavor text they put in game, then like CBS sucks. All right.
Well, also CBS signed off on Fluxo Naturel. That's way more risque.
Yeah. Well, it's different if
We-
it's a man versus
Oh
woman.
yeah,
but
it's
whatever.
a double standard. It's true.
John Billingsley. He's too erotic to contain.
Yeah, no, instantly, if people have been following our recommendation and watching Shuttlepod 1, realize that Phlox and John Billingsley are not as different as they may have appeared.
Never meet your heroes.
All right,
All right.
Shall we?
Let's move on.
let's move on from that leakage. Oh god, I can't get rid of it. There we go. Let's.
Oh,
talk
I'd love reanimated Helen. I'd love that. Big, put that in the suggestions log and I will make that as a Timelines original. I will do that.
reanimated.
Oh,
Okay.
I tell you what, that means Stars and I get to watch Sub-Rosa together to make Fake Crew.
You know what? Are you free Friday, Otto? Are you free?
I might be.
Just
I'll
plan
have to
it.
check.
Alright, there we go. We're doing it.
I've got right there.
We'll have a Sub-Rosa blowout episode. All Sub-Rosa Fake Crew.
Dude,
Timeless originals.
who's that Tellarite-looking
that
guy
candle?
with the Scottish accent?
Yeah.
So good. That'll have to be his arena ability. It can't be anything else.
Didn't like that candle.
And can we have aroused Crusher when she's sitting at the in the talking to Deanna and telling her about the book, and she's all like,
God.
"If I read my grandmother's journal, it had stuff like that, I'd be freaked the fuck out. Like that would just be like, oh no, oh god no. They don't do that. That's disgusting."
Yeah, no, your parents have always been completely sexless, and you popped out of the ground like a sapling. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, Cairo, imagine CBS signed off on cute furry dribbles give Hoshi, only evoke feelings of affection.
Dear oh dear. All right, here we go. Esteemed Curzon Dax is next week's faction reward. Ooh,
Dude, chat, you guys are on fire tonight.
guys
You
are
guys
great.
are the star of the show.
can we announce something really exciting? Really exciting. They're finally fucking putting Section 31 in a faction event. It's happening. We can finally get holograms. Anyway, but tanking's illegal. No one does that. That's just bad.
Shy porn would tell you you can farm hollow programs every day, Idle.
Yes, but you can do it more frequently. Anyway, Esteemed Curzon Dax is the Dip Command Sec. How original. Legendary crew you can get for next week's event. He is Voyage rank 83 with a few collectible features. Please, gentlemen, tell me.
Seventh host of the Dax symbiont, a close friend and mentor of Cisco, and an excellent diplomat.
He is Timeline's Originals. He has that hidden trait.
Yes.
So if you were missing that last one in the collection, maybe this might be the one for that. So if you are part of the...
He's probably one of the better crew in that collection now.
not too bad. However, there is that skill set.
Well, yeah, but you've also got the other collection value. Like, I've taken way worse crew for better collections and worse skill sets. Like, I grabbed Zindi Aquatic and I got, like, 3 stars or whatever, like...
So we see Curzon briefly in DS9 when he's on, like, the operating table as he's dying. So I'm actually a little bit surprised that they made him in originals. They didn't technically need to, because, like, you see him, and so they do a lot of times where they change the pose because they have to have him standing up for, 2-to-1 ratio or whatever. But I'm glad they did, because it really is not the same as what was on the screen. So
It's more accurate than human kneeling.
Dude, how is he not a cultural figure?
Yeah, that's
like
true.
everyone in the Klingon Empire knew him. Everyone in the Federation knew him.
Everyone on Trill knows him. Absolutely.
He's an established enough diplomat, which they tell you in the flavor text that he's traveled how many worlds. So this is also, by my count, the 4th new crew in the last month to dip Amanda's dip base.
I was going to ask you how does the dip base stack up, because I was like, hang on, that's a pretty big dip base. It kind of also occurs to me, is this not basically kind of a better refresh of Xiantara Odo just without the added Odo events? Because it's the same skill set, same massive dip base, same grandfathering into Dax events.
Yes, he will count for.
I think that's a happy
Esri
coincidence.
Yeah, he will count for those.
Dip is like the clown car of skills, where it's Schrodinger's dip. Every crew is within the top 5 until you check their ranks, and then you're like, oh, I didn't know they fell out of the top 5.
Yeah, it was like when I was looking at the ranks for like Prophet Sarah Cisco, I was like, oh, she's in the top 10, right? Number 41? What the fuck?
What happened? You were so good.
Power creep is too fast. They gotta pull that back.
And then you look at the numbers, and it's like, oh wait, yeah, she's like off by like 1 point off of each of these. It's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, so 4 collections with a couple. I mean, romantic. We've been beating that drum for years. We gotta get a romantic collection sooner than later. Trill, I find interesting. I think it's going to be a collection because the first 15 of the first 16 Trills in the game or something like that were all either Ezra or Jadzia, and all but one of the last 10 or 11 have been not Jadzia. So I think they're adding that breadth of Trill characters, maybe points somewhere down the line to a collection, but that's...
I would like to see some more Jadzias and Ezras, just we've kind of had a massive dry spell, so hopefully... I still want to see that Xiantara Mega. I think that'd be such a baller idea for a Mega. It'd be so cool.
Just call it Trillennium. Trill Smith presents.
So, incidentally, we were talking about Risque. I like how they gave him romantic, because do you remember why he died?
Yes.
Because of Gemma Haron with, what's her name? Arandis. There you go. It did dovetails with the opening of our show. It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Walt asks, like Amanda, did he need sec? With characters like this, you could give him almost anything. Yeah. One of his previous hosts was a serial killer, and that does come up a lot in the show. So, you could put science, you could probably put engineering in there somewhere just because of his experience with the past host. But
he wasn't known of the Klingons, wasn't he? So, I mean,
he's also
respected. So
he's a blood brother.
Was also the one who, he's the one who swore the blood oath. So I would give that a pass. I probably would have gone for a med kicker just because, in the context of the actual scene that he does appear in, he is kind of giving Jadzia like a moment of spiritual connection and is like reassuring her and having that connection. I think that justifies med, but I can see why they went sec. I'm not actually going to tell them that they are wrong for this.
Dude, I'm so not looking forward to going and writing out like a long list of reasoning and quotes why he should be cultural figure, and it's like not going to happen. Why do I do this to myself? Why can't I just not
He should
care
be
like
cultural
they
figure.
don't?
He was, yeah, no, I agree. He was the Federation diplomat to Kronos. He was known around the galaxy. Like, even in the non-canon books, they played on Curzon Dax being a huge, like, basically Federation player.
Good point. So Blood Oath Dax has a Klingon trait.
Same
So
reason
should
Determined
Curzon really,
Paris does, because she's wearing
Yeah.
Klingon armor, which makes no sense,
Well,
but okay.
I give it a pass on here because he's not acting in the role of a Klingon here. He's dying.
All right, this is
Yeah,
getting
but
depressing.
this is different from the dying Dax. He's like going into the pools or
Not
something. where he's-
really.
Maybe.
All right, a thumbs up. Are you guys going for 1 or 2 or more copies this week or not?
I actually, yeah.
Nope, you're
No,
outvoted,
yeah.
Idle.
I think I
Oh,
will.
so I've got to go for it now. Shit.
No.
That's the rules,
Oh,
man.
shit.
Yeah. We don't need to give him more crew for him to not level.
I
142
just
so
love
far.
traits. So if you put a lot of good traits on a crew, I'm all for it. So
Yeah. As I mentioned, like, it also fits into that category of affection crew. Like, I like Curzon a lot. I think he adds a lot to Jadzia's character. And, like, he's also a very interesting character in the greater history of the Federation. So I think he's a cool... I want a copy of him. He seems cool.
Definitely a good pick. What about everyone's favourite ensign, the one that's known by everyone throughout the entirety of Voyager? Ensign Mary Kaplan, the Lieutenant J.G. Martinez of the Voyager crew, Sec, Dip, 2-skiller, single collection, resourceful.
a member of the USS Voyager crew who died while responding. A member of the USS Voyager crew who died while responding to a distress call.
That could be any episode in seasons 1 through 7.
Okay, I do like how they give the guest act, the background actors a role in this. That's quite cool because they did it with Martinez. I think there's a few con officers that appeared on the Enterprise D over time that I would like to see as well. So I quite like, and I think super rare is the right point to have them in there. Maybe rare as well, but I quite like this. I don't remember her, but yeah, it's cool that they get their representation.
Oh, she's the one with... Oh, okay, yeah, the one who crashes with Chakotay on the shuttle. Okay,
How can you forget that?
It's been a while and she wasn't particularly memorable. But she's apparently a hero, so that's cool.
Hero collection, but resourceful. So it's another resourceful super rare, which we love because that collection is monstrous. But I could see a hero collection at some point, guys. Anything else in that sec dip worth talking about? I don't think so.
I was just double checking because since they changed the event rewards so that blues were no longer included in there, we've only had a single rare crew released in 13 months. George and Gracie, and that was the temporary achievement. So I don't know if the door's shut on that. Maybe we only get like one a year or something. I kind of wish they do more though.
I wouldn't mind that, yeah. Because there are some crew where you're looking like, did this really need to be a purple?
So, more traits is like my motto or whatever. And so people have tuned me out at this point. But I think if you have a one-off character who you're never going to get another variant of, stretch it a little bit. Tactician would fit. She took Tuvok Station and was working at Tactical for a while. Explorer would fit. She was on a survey mission with Chakotay, exploring some whatever when they crashed. So it's like, just give her a little bit of, give her meds. She performs a triage on someone I think is sick bay at one point. So, giving her like 2 viable traits, and she's not a Voyager. She doesn't have a good ship ability.
Why is she desperate?
Who
Probably
isn't
'cause-
on Voyager?
That was probably their attempt at like giving her some kind of trait. So
Everyone's horny.
I mean,
Love book.
she's better than Martinez. So
And he's got med.
what? I mean, Mr. Yes Doctor of fame, yes.
Okay, who is your one-shot character that just has like one line, sits at a con or stands in the back of sickbay or whatever that you would like here?
Ensign Param.
Oh,
Ensign
okay.
Fuck Eyes in Insurrection. I intend to shove it down the Sona's throat, and she's like, she gives the dramatic look, and I'm like, freeze frame on my remote control.
Sorry, that
Dude,
look
she's
was
the
everything.
best. She's the best.
I think yeah. Go on, Stars.
So I have 2. I have the con officer who flew the Enterprise D out of the Dyson Sphere and relics, I believe it was Ensign McKelvey or whatever her name was. Or McKnight. There were a few. When I was watching through TNG, Brody got weirdly obsessed with the con officers on the Enterprise D and was like, "Oh, look who have we got? Have we got Allenby? Have we got McKnight?" And I was like, "Brody, stop this." But she did some pretty flying. So I would like her. I would also like. You know that bit after they blow up the Duras' Bird of Prey generations with the ionic pulse or whatever it is? And like Data's walking up into frame and he goes, "Yes." And if you look behind him, there is another Starfleet officer who just quietly goes, and it's like, you fucking douchebag, you're stepping over the principal actor's line.
So there's some great suggestions from chat. I'm loving Voyager's first officer, Ensign Lieutenant Stadi, the Betazoid that Paris tries to show.
Stadi's arena's got to be, do you always fly at women at warp speed?
That's a good one. Yeah.
Chief Engineer Argyle, but actually, I forgot about Chief Engineer Singh. What happened to him?
He got killed, didn't he?
I don't know.
Can we get Polywater Argyle?
Oh, God. Wearing...
Rending his garments.
Can we get Polywater guy in the jumpsuit who's like, "Wesley, I'm feeling pretty good." He's like yanking out all the Icelandic ships. Can we get that guy?
Mike Shimoda.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Ensign Rivers, played by...
Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah, I would mind that.
Oh,
can we get Leland T. Lynch?
God.
Wait, who's that?
Yeah, he's the guy who's telling
Ensign
Picard to
Lynch.
fuck off the edge of my dick while I put in my dilithium crystals.
Oh, I thought you were talking about from First Contact, like we don't abandon. What about Ensign Lynch? You know, from that.
Oh, no. He's either assistant or the chief engineer in like season 1 or 2.
Christian Slater's crewman in the movie. Right, I think Matt.
Some of the TOS movies, I forgot about that.
I think my choice would be in originals Ensign Matt Franklin, the guy who Scotty couldn't save from the transporter buffer in Relics. Because we never see him on screen. The poor guy can't rematerialize.
Lieutenant
Kaczynski,
Torres,
that's a good one.
The guy who gets frozen in Encountering Farpoint. By Q. The original Torres.
Lieutenant Ayala, that's the one.
Tom Morello, yeah.
I kind of want a new Traveler. Because he was creepy and whatever, but he was memorable.
You will take Wesley Crusher coming back and you will like it.
Dude, that was so absurd. He quits traveling the galaxy to go watch Troy and Riker get married. What?
Wow.
Hey, Idol, tell me more about the Star Trek books.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean that.
Wesley Crusher's journey is a really real wide... Like, they had this series called Coda, which basically destroys the entire universe, but a lot of that involves Wesley Crusher being a traveller with insane superhero powers, doing weird shit, including time travelling and meeting his older self, who then dies. But turns out it was all the Davidians all along.
Yeah, those
I'm
guys.
not making this up. That's exactly how it goes. Anyway.
Tell you what, as long as we're talking fake originals crew.
Well, I think it's time to play the new intro that I haven't made yet, and we should go over and do some fake crew. Every week, Auto's like, "Well, we should do this for the intro for fake crew," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'll get right."
No, we have an idea now. It's in pre-production.
Oh, it is.
It'll be ready soon.
We've spoken one sentence about it.
Originals.
Sorry. Guys,
it's an original.
It's Caval from D Space Nine, the Romulan himself, Command Medsec. Tell me, stars. Go on. What was the inspiration? Who suggested this?
You may remember him from the DS9 episode with the long Latin title that I can't say. But
Silent Legis something.
It means in times of war, the law stays silent. So this was again influenced by our good friend No Name Namer, who wanted more Romulan crew who were different and interesting and cool. And Caval is a slimy piece of shit. He's such a piece of work. Because, if you recall, his introduction to us, the viewer, and to Bashir, is him walking up to Bashir at a conference he's giving on Romulus about the quickening, like that, the plague the Dominion inflicted upon that poor innocent planet. And he's like, oh, is there a way to introduce this into a population? And Bashir's like, well, yeah. He's like, could you weaponize that? He's like, you shouldn't. But... And he's just like a real douchebag, but he does also give way to one of my favorite exchanges in all of Trek, which was it's Bashir saying, well, it was nice talking with you. And he's like, why? He's like, you got me there. it's really good.
So, Koval is played by John Fleck, who most people know as Silic from Enterprise.
He's got that face.
He also plays, well, he's got the voice. He plays Abaddon from Alice, where Tom Paris barters to get the old junkie ship. He plays a couple others. You can look it up on Memory Alpha, where flavor texts abide. But he whenever you hear the voice, you recognize him instantly. So he added a lot to this role, I think, and I think the production. The director did a great job too, because there aren't many times in Star Trek where I feel uncomfortable. But watching this sort of halfway fever dream, how much of it is real going on, and Bashir gets called in before the Senate or whatever, and he's getting questioned. I'm like, all right, this is getting a little uncomfortable here with Mr. Fleck's rendition. So I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah, and I wanted to give him something a little bit different than come on Dipsec, because I always do. And I figured, given how much emphasis he takes on the quickening virus, and also he goes into a bit of detail about Sloan and all that kind of... I figured Med made a bit of sense, and also he's implied to be suffering from some kind of degenerative disease that may have been a cover. But if it was a cover, then he's at least faking it well enough that he fools Bashir. So I figured Med made sense as a secondary here.
Okay.
I won't argue against it, but it's not something I would go with. I mean, well, Dip is kind of out the window, so either it's a two-skiller or it's something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before we move on, Rev Damar pinged me, and I want to update people on the campaign track via Shan.
Ooh.
The existing track will continue to be priced at $10, and it can be purchased alone. The second purchasable track cannot be unlocked as a standalone. You'll be able to unlock both at the same time for $25. If you decide only to unlock the first one for $10, you can still unlock the second for $15 later on.
Okay, so it works out the same value if you do both. Okay, but
so it's $25 for both. The second one alone, which has the new crew, is $15. So it's a little more expensive than the
stuff in that for that
typical
price.
$10.
Yeah, we're going to see what's in that track for that price, because Justin is gold.
Or ISM, it's got to be good shit. Like,
yeah,
dude, if they start pumping out like really top shelf crew in there that you can only get for cash, it's gonna get ugly.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Anyway, more importantly, Fake Crew. Next one.
Yeah.
Bujoled herself, Captain Nicole Genois, with her French accent. If you've not watched it, go to YouTube and watch the original pilot of Voyager, because the story is that Kate Mulgrew was brought in very last minute because she actually shot for the pilot and quit halfway through.
Bujold was a charisma vacuum.
Oh my god, it's just so dark.
Yeah, so this was suggested to me by our, again, much beloved Big McLarge. And I was like, oh yeah, this whole thing, because she's the Janeway we never got. And I'm like, this would be an interesting timeline original crew. Let me go and look at some of her footage to get an idea of what kind of character she is. And I was just like,
Really
I
bad.
could not believe...
She is so
flat. The sheer lack of energy she has compared to everyone else, I felt embarrassed watching it, and I was like, "Yeah, Harry." Like, it is literally the situation where you could have had like Vogons walk on set, and they would have had more energy to their voice than Captain Nicole Janeway.
Maybe I'm misremembering.
Rough.
It wasn't quite that bad, but she was pretty flat. And a lot of this dialogue I do remember listening to was just like operational stuff that I don't think most actors would put a ton into anyway. But If you go back and watch some early Mulgrew stuff, she has the swagger. She has an identifiable voice.
She's so charismatic.
She's got a little pep in her step, and it's like you're buying into what she's doing. You know, even if you think,
I mean, Janeway went
the
into
temporal
redefine
stuff
the role
and whatever.
as a feminist, didn't she? She wanted to redefine the role. So I'm going to be the first female captain. I'm not going to do it in the, just going to be, I'm not going to be the sultry, sexy captain. I'm going to do it in the commanding way with my own style and absolutely play to that to a T.
Yeah, this is probably the wrong path to go down to for the three of us, but you kind of pointed out, I never thought about it before. Did she ever do anything sexy?
What, Janeway?
Yeah.
She kind of had a few moments where she was in a sort of a luxury dress, sitting in a
yeah, that's true. But those are like later.
It wasn't like an every week thing,
Those are like kind of later seasons, right? With Q
as
barging
As I recall, Kate Mulgrew herself was like, I don't want a single hint of romance between me and, say, like a guest character, because I don't want it to come. Well, no, but here's the thing. She wanted it to come across. She wanted Janeway to be established in her role, not undermined by any relationship with a man, no implications of sleeping around, because she wanted to be taken seriously.
Right.
And it's only late in later seasons with stuff like Kashyyyk and.
Dude, I was just going to mention Kashyyyk is scintillating, dude. I could
absolutely.
If I could go into like VR mode and watch one episode like as a fly on the wall, it might just be Counterpoint, because that. Between Prax, and just everything about, I love that episode, but especially the chemistry with Janeway is so
was
fucking good.
Was that the one where they were hiding the people in the transporter buffer, and he kept routine searching her,
yeah,
and then he ends up being rebel, and it's turned up to be a trap all along. But he was trying to seduce her.
It's a classic bit of Voyager. It's a really good episode. But that's the thing. Part of the reason why it works is because Janeway is established as an independent character who will not just fall in with any man. So when she does fall for Kashyyyk, or at least appears to, you buy it way harder.
And we did the whole fake crew for Fairhaven, and that's another banger episode. Like the first one, not Spirit Folk, but that first one, like her relationship is excellent, and it makes you think a little bit, and it's like, so I hadn't really thought about that before. You look at Kirk, who's like banging every chick in the galaxy, like literally every episode in a stretch of like 10 or 12 is like him he's got to save the universe by kissing a girl. So I hadn't thought about it before, but that's really cool.
But there's the flip side to it as well, which is 7 of 9. 7 of 9 came in and was supposed to be the bombshell, was supposed to be the sex appeal, but ended up being one of the most rich and deep characters in that whole series. So like they played two female characters in each way, both giving them a different side of things. But anyway, yes.
Incidentally, in answer to your question, the sexiest Janeway was everyone's screen. I know this is kind of objective, but like this
Lucille
is from
Davenport.
my boyfriend. No, this is from verbatim from my boyfriend. The sexiest she ever was, and I tend to agree, was the white tuxedo from the Killing Game.
I can see that.
Because Jesus, she wears that look so well. With the cane and everything, like Jesus Christ, what an amazing outfit!
That's got a
you want to be caned by Kate Mulgrew?
Yeah.
You want to? Okay, never mind. I was going to go fan fiction now. Who's up next?
Yeah, we don't want to talk about Captain Nicole Janeway because there's not much to talk about. I scrabbled for traits for her, but she's a charisma vacuum.
Yeah, if you guys are curious, probably just go on YouTube and search like Bujold Janeway or Original Janeway or something. You'll find it. It's not great.
Make sure you have a stimulant on hand.
And kudos for Kate Mulgrew for coming in last moment and going, I'm going to own this. I'm going to fucking rock it.
That was a slightly a funny weird anecdote. I was at one point doing a battery test at work. I work in electronics, incidentally, at work. And I was doing a battery test on a laptop, and I was like, I need to test it for half an hour. What's a decent thing to test about? I'll put on some Voyager. And one of my co-workers literally came along halfway through, I think it was Bride of Chaotica, and immediately started mimicking Janeway's voice. And it's like that kind of slightly nasally thing. And I was like, man, it really It's kind of distinctive, but she was also kind of into it. She was like, "This is a really drawn-in character." Like Mulgrew just has a magnetic appeal to her.
Garrett Wang on the Delta Flyers podcast, him and Robert McNeil do a sort of watch-along. He does a very good Janeway accent. He's a very good impersonator of that. He's kind of got the patter down and the kind of the nasal sort of kind of thing. But yeah,
dude, you just know he did it on the set all the time. I wonder what Mulgrew thought when she caught him doing it. Oh, there's that the episode with Hologram Barkley, where he's like trying to get along with the crew, so he starts mimicking other people, and you see Reg Barkley's mouth moving, and it's Janeway's voice. That's like, that's hilarious.
I love when they do that. All right, next one, Singing Seven.
This is one of my favorite episodes of all of Voyager. I absolutely adore this scene in this episode.
Is this Someone to Watch Over Me?
Watch over me?
Someone to Watch Over Me, yeah. Because it's what I love most about Star Trek, where it's like it's a hologram and a cybernetic drone learning about humanity and singing children's like learn your pentatonic scales songs in a cargo bay and falling in love a little bit. And it's like there's something just that's Star Trek to me. That kind of scene is what Star Trek is to me.
So I really buy that Doc, and this is Picardo's acting, because I'm sure if you met him in real life, he'd be a force. He's full of energy. He's fairly handsome. I'll say in his way, he is fairly handsome. And he's just like a magnetic personality. But you can buy him as, the guy who sits in sickbay all the time. He's bald. He was based on the pattern of some guy who's bald. He doesn't have great interpersonal skills. And so whenever he tries to get close to Seven and she rejects him, and you just see his face fall, like you can feel that, like, you feel it in your chest. You're like, no, like you want him to be happy because he's, a personable guy and stuff. But you can also see him as like in the lovable loser role, kind of because of how they made the character. So,
and unlike WRG, I am capable of making a blue character.
Hang on. Wait for it. It's going to be worth it. Damn it, where is it?
It's not going to be worth it.
It's really not going to be worth it. Fuck, I can't find it.
The moment has passed.
This is
blue.
There we go, I found it. Fuck, I can't find it. This is the problem. I should just type it in, shouldn't I? Anyway, okay, next crew. Alternate reality...
This is blue.
Thank you, racing liners. Alternate reality data from Parallels.
There you go, you got it. Yeah, it's from Parallels. I went back and forth of whether or not to go with this one or the one with him with blue eyes, but the one with blue eyes doesn't show up so well on the smaller picture, so I went with the alternate universe com badge.
What about the red uniform one? You could have gone with that in the command when he's first officer.
That's a different variant, technically speaking. There's multiple instances where data puts on a different...
This 5-second appearance of data.
Specifically Parallels.
That's the one with... Yeah, that's the one with the Riker where you can't, don't even try.
Yes, that one. Sorry, yes, I do get those episodes confused because they're essentially the kind of the same plot with a different character.
Chain of Command also has data in a red uniform, so there's multiple first officer datas. But I wanted this one. This one is quantum mechanics.
Rev DeMarch has data with. If they don't call data with the phone in his belly, like long distance data or something like that.
Unlimited data.
Unlimited data.
Yeah, no, that one has to be. But yeah, I love Parallels. Parallels is again another quality episode, and it's someone pointed something out to me that I love. I don't know if it was like on the show or maybe somewhere else.
Can we have peeking round the corner Worf when he's in Diana on the bed?
He's with the long hair. Yeah, no, he's cute like that.
Hold on. Small talk data. What still are you using for that? When he's hanging around the pole, or when he's talking to them, or?
Yeah, no, it's got to be that.
If only they could animate them, that would be better.
Oh yeah, I would love that. This is one of the few Worf episodes that is not Klingon focused.
True.
Has almost nothing to do with him being Klingon.
He does win a trophy from a Klingon tournament, but yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You could literally supplant this plot onto someone else. Like, this could be a Riker or a Picard or a Troy episode, and literally you just have to change a few lines here and there. But I like that they gave it to Worf so that he's not entirely defined by Klingon culture. I like that.
Troy wins a chocolate eating contest. Champion standing.
And one of the other timelines, she's like, I threw up in the first round.
Joey Deanna Troy Chestnut as the champion standing of competitive eating. All right, when I first saw this, I thought that'll never pass muster because they like to do something that is like recognizable, standout type of variant. And when I look at that, I just see regular data. Like, unless you zoom in on the little com badge, it would be very hard to tell. I went back and rewatched the last year's charity stream, the section with WRG on it. And they go through the cab brief, the character art brief, and they talk about kind of what they're looking for, and they create a new crew. And the top of the list was some kind of identifiable either facial expression or an outfit or something. And I don't know. I'm not seeing it here.
That's for Genos. Sorry.
I think you could. I think if they were going to make this variant, they would either go. You know what I would allow? And what would actually probably nice. What would probably be the best compromise is if you gave him a red uniform with this comm badge and blue eyes. Now that would technically not be accurate, but that would be a nice amalgamation of features where you're like, that's not that's kind of an amalgam. We literally just got one this week, so I would think that that'd be a nice. If they wanted to make this crew, I feel like that'd be a decent compromise. But that's just me.
I mean, do you remember how much gnashing of teeth there was that Mitchell's badge was on the wrong side? So
yeah,
I think I'd probably let it pass too. Like if they came out when they released them and said we couldn't find a really identifiable variant, but we thought this was an important moment in time to capture, and that's why we're doing this, then I think players would
I'd
be
love for them
fine
to
with
come
that.
out one day, just have some art with some problems and go, no, we can't be asked, we don't care, just fucking live with it. I would respect them so much more if they're just like, whatever, we're too busy. Don't care.
Yeah,
oh, they did it with Laura.
Remember when we talked about the wrong Tilly campaign crew because Party and Wonderland are like whatever
Identical almost, yeah.
Yeah, and I said I didn't care. EV Suit Reed. I quite like this episode. First Enterprise.
This episode's great.
Yeah.
And this is, I want Reed to have a good variant because, especially watching back that Shuttle Pod 1 table read, Dominic Keating is underrated in his acting. He's actually quite good. He just wasn't given enough material in the actual series.
Keating actually talks about this particular scene and episode in, I think, one of the later Shuttle Pod episodes they do, and I forget exactly what he said about it, but something about it being rather grueling because he was kind of like tied down in one spot in that god awful suit for like hours at a time. So I can imagine that would have been not so fun to film.
Yeah, like I can imagine so, but like he manages to. And actually, I don't rate Scott Bakula massively highly. Maybe it's because I haven't watched Quantum Leap. Maybe I'm not giving enough credit. But even so, I think he meets Dominic Keating quite well in this scene, and they have a decent interplay. And the entire episode is just really well constructed. So I wanted to give it a good variant. I wanted a good read for a good episode, and God knows that means he'll probably come out and be an N-Sec 2 skiller, but whatever. I tried.
As long as it's EV suit.
Yeah.
My collection's a bit.
Oh yeah, for your collections. Yeah, get out of here, whore.
I will say that, yeah, this is going to become like the Delta Flyers where we reference it all the time. But in the Shuttle Pod show that they do, they spoke extremely highly of Bakula as a ultimate professional. Like they were, almost kissing his feet as the ultimate professional. He had he has, I think, 4 kids. Had 4 kids at the time, including 2 young ones. On the set, he was being like a dad between takes, and during some of the more like extreme physical stuff, like when they're on the planet with Zobral or whatever, playing badminton, like brutal conditions, and he would just keep saying another take, or rough me up a little bit, or do this or that, and so. They were just, basically kissing Bakula's feet, saying the guy was an absolute pro. So, hearing that from your co-stars, and they didn't have to say it. This is some little, like podcasts are doing on the side, like 20 years later.
Shows that's coming out, are they? So,
for that to stand out in their heads, and for them to all agree, that's kind of sold me on Bakula as a
and have you seen that behind the scenes picture of everyone dressed up in Rocky Horror Picture Show outfits?
No,
that one also.
Oh,
let me get that
for you. Okay, here's a question for you. So we've had Robert Duncan McNeil and Garrett Wang doing a Voyager podcast. We've now got Dominic Keating and Connor Trenier doing an Enterprise podcast. Of any of the other series, what two two actors would you like to see get together to do a podcast or rewatch of the series? So Next Generation, TOS, DS9, maybe we'll say Discovery as well. No, actually, no, we won't say series that haven't ended yet. So yeah, those two.
I've been so delinquent because Stars has told me this like 3 times and I haven't followed through. Apparently, Frakes and Sirtis do watch Insurrection together and provide commentary. And
do they?
Supposedly it's great.
It's beautiful. It's so cute.
I need to see that.
So
they're so cute together. They have wonderful chemistry off set. You can really tell it's literally like listening to Riker and Troy talk about this stuff.
Okay.
It's really adorable.
Is that a DVD commentary or is that somewhere else?
Yeah, you should have it on your Blu-ray or whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
The chat says Terry Farrell and Nana Visitor, Spiner and Burton.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, I was going to say Spiner and Burton, actually. I would like that a lot.
I would like...
Seventh Rule does exist, you're right. That's Kirk Lofton and sadly departed Aaron Eisenberg. But yeah, I forgot about that one, actually.
I would like an all-female lineup. Fairlin and Visitor would be good, because I kind of want that perspective.
They're really good friends, actually. Like, they hang out and do exercises and everything still to this day. Yeah, if we can include actors who are sadly departed, I would love.
Big. Calm down, Big. TOS, who's left?
Fucking wow!
Actually, George Takei was on the Star Trek cruise this year. He's still going. I think unfortunately,
if we can include actors who have passed off,
George Takei and William Shatner. There we go. Imagine that.
I don't want to do that to George, man. He's suffered enough.
I know. True.
Okay, he was in a Japanese internment camp, and that's better than being in a room with William Shatner.
Koenig and George Takei. There you go. That's a bit fair.
That's all right. But no, if I could pick actors who were including sadly departed, I would kill to hear DeForest Kelley and Leonard Nimoy talk about TOS. I would love to hear that conversation.
How about...
I was going to say DeForest and Jimmy Doohan, because I really love both
that'd be good
of those.
As well, yeah.
How about, I'm just switching things here. How about Renee Auberjonois and
Renee Zellweger?
Armin Shimmerman. That would be amazing. Yeah,
that would be a good one. Quark.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Jerry Ryan and Bob Picardo.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Oh, hell yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I'd be down for that. If we also...
Thank you, Big.
That's what I want to pick.
Shatner in an empty chair for his ego.
Brilliant. No. I also wouldn't mind Jonathan Frakes and Patrick Stewart. I think they'd be an interesting duo.
That'd be very interesting.
Especially since Patrick Stewart has a reputation for being a real goofball off set. I would really be curious to see how that would come out during a long form podcast.
There was a really nice moment in lockdown when Patrick Stewart was doing his sonnets. He was reading a sonnet every day on either Twitter or Instagram somewhere. And then one day he's like, I've invited my good friend Johnny. Johnny's here, and he turns around and Jonathan Frakes is reading a sonnet with him, and they're just very they have this really nice chat together. It's really heartwarming. I was like, I'm so glad these guys are friends.
Yeah, I will say though, but Shuttlepod's been a nice surprise because I never really got too much into Reed, and it's like Dominic Keating as like an aging British punk rocker. Like I could believe him as that. So his real life persona is like, it's beyond what we ever saw from Reed. So I maybe some combos that no one would think of, or characters that you didn't necessarily love could really show the personality more in a setting.
Alexander Siddig and Andrew Robinson, hell yes, but only if they review Garrick and Bashir episodes. I think that would work really.
Yeah, no, they just queer it up all the way. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Tar and feather me, but I've seen a few Andrew Robinson interviews and stuff, and not flat, but like he was just like a regular guy, and
just some guy,
and partly it's because he's such a friggin' good actor. Is like you're not going to get Garrick in that kind of casual interview, which a lot of people may be expecting. But so,
you guys have seen Dirty Harry, right?
I'm not, no, but I know he is.
I've not.
Yeah. He's the killer in that, and it's weird seeing him without makeup, but still acting kind of like Garrick. You can see him pull some of the same facial expressions. It's kind of nuts.
There is Alexander Siddig and Andrew Robinson got together very recently on Cynic's YouTube channel, and they did some plays and stuff with them as Gareth.
I think they did some fanfic, actually.
They didn't do the fanfic, but yes.
I think they did, actually. Okay, we were talking about unconventional combos. What about Patrick Stewart and Gates McFadden?
Interesting.
Because, like, they have, like... That was always the thing that struck me when I was younger, was, like, just how much chemistry those two had. And I was like... Thank you.
Oh, Captain!
God damn it. And it's like... I don't know, seeing, like, I'd be very curious to hear her perspective on a lot of TNG as well, because she directed a few episodes. I bet she'd have, like, a lot of interesting, like, things to say about it. So...
Okay, what about I don't think she's in.
What?
I don't. Diana Muldaur. God, who's Admiral Forrest? Jeffrey Combs.
Vaughn Armstrong. Yeah.
Guys who have played across multiple series, multiple characters, because I think they have a broader perspective than, here's what it was like backstage at our show and we were goofing around all the time. I would kind of like to see people who played, across eras, across series, and they probably have a real fresh perspective.
But also, fuck that. What about Jeremy? What about Jeremy Coombs and Casey Biggs?
Jeremy Coombs.
It's Jeffrey's less talented brother.
That's who they got on to play Wei-Yun when he was playing Brunt in the same episode.
Oh, that's how they did it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like those two, I feel like you'd get some fun commentary.
I'm thinking of Jeremy Kyle now, and I'm thinking of Jeremy Schrad as like a Jeremy Kyle. It's like, did you sleep with her?
Jeremy Kyle and Shran have a lot of the same energy, so you're not wrong.
Pigskin, tell me the DNA results.
Okay, yeah, Will Kearney brings up, can we get Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen to watch anything? I would want to alter that and say they only watch the bad episodes.
Oh, yeah. Code of Honor.
They only watch shit like Threshold and Code of Honor so that Ian can give him a good old ribbing. That's what I want to hear.
How has Ian McKellen not been in Star Trek? How has that happened?
That is weird, isn't it?
Yeah. Probably just not in America at the right time, but yeah, how funny.
He should have been a giant evil space face by this point.
Okay. Going back on to our show notes. Kal'Hyah Worf and Darbo, an unlikely combination, but tell us, how do they marry together in the 21st century?
So I've seen twice now, once on Discord, someone posted on the forums as well. He can appear in Dabo. And that's reminiscent of Scapegoat O'Brien, who was also in People's Dabo for the first few days. So someone forgot to check that exclusive tag. Luckily, he's not good enough to clear Dabo for anyways. So.
What have I done to earn your disrespect?
Actually, it was good timing because I was roasting him right then. But
no. Yeah, that's a big boo boo. That being said, It's not quite as bad as Scapegoat, because that allows you to circumvent a lot of crew. Like, 100,000 Honor, I still am of the opinion that comes and goes relatively quickly if you're at, like, a mid to late.
That's probably better than the 15,000 dill that it takes to run the...
Yeah. Unless you get a spin 1 or 2.
Well, yeah, but that never happens.
I got... Do you know what I did?
Happened to a guy on my fleet once.
I had a gold on the Darbo literally last week. It wasn't a dupe like I had before. Do you know who I got? Fucking Elnor. Fucking 2 skill Elnor. The one useful gold I've got off the Darbo.
I can't feel sad for you because I've never gotten a gold. And I would happily take Elnor for credits. So, there you go.
See, first world problems, Idol.
Sorry, bro.
Anyway.
Guess what? He's in Starfleet now, so
his name means Star Trek. Star
Trek
is in Starfleet.
Spoilers. All right, so a quick 30-second retrospective, because I've got 7 minutes to get to bed. How do you feel now about Kal'Hyah, Worf, recently buffed, still kind of mediocre. Where are you guys sitting on this as an honor hole crew?
Oh, once the next honor hail sits and I get another $100,000, I will buy him.
Okay, if this were a Chakotay variant, what would you think of this crew?
You would have already press ganged me into getting him for our blood pact.
Okay, if this is a character that none of us cared about, where would you... let's take sentiment out of it for a second.
Are we
and
just talking
pretend
pure
to-
stats? Looking at the statistics and...
Oh yeah, I
Yes.
wouldn't bother if it was
No.
just pure stats. I wouldn't bother. But guess what? This isn't a game based around just stats. This is a game based around sentiment.
What?
Otherwise, it is just stats. And guess
Okay.
what? The pretty pictures attached to the stats do mean something.
Hold on a second. Take the emotion out of it. You can still say, "Hey, this crew has great art," without saying, "I would let Worf do me in a back alley." So, if you didn't have a love affair with Michael Dorn, would you recommend this card?
No.
No.
No, not really.
Okay. All
No,
right.
not for 100,000 on them. Maybe if you got them on a Davo because they fucked up. If you was an event crew, sure, but I don't. For 100,000 I think you could spend it'd be better. Like,
So you
Kalis
don't
would probably
think
be a relatively.
you don't think their buff went far enough in making him desirable?
Well, now I have to bring sentiment back into
Okay.
it.
What about you, Idle? Surely you can give us an objective perspective.
Nah.
Well, I'm glad we included this in the show notes. What's up next, boys?
No, I don't know. There's not enough there for make me want to get a lot of the honor hall crew. There's always like with Bev Picard, she's got one thing. Captain Tribble, he's got his one thing. Borg Queen 7 kind of fits in the same realm as Kal'Hyah Worf. They're okay, but there's nothing quite there. It's the investment to immortalize. Would I spend 4 sites on them instantly? Captain Tribble is probably the only one that I might, but.
All right, let me take a different tack. If you could give Worf, Queen, and Nanoprobe one thing that they were, say, top 2 at, that's the most accurate thematically, and then would you go for them at that price point?
If Worf was more of a gauntleteer, maybe. If he had a bit more proficiencies to make him gauntlet worthy with the traits to match, that would be fitting. That would be quite fitting to the crew. I think that would be more appealing.
Okay, I'm thinking maybe for Queen, because this is like a very brutal, like she wants to
Ship
eviscerate the
damage
Borg.
or something like that.
If they made her like, say, a 1 skill sec crew, number 1 sec. Or yeah, ship damage. If she did 600% ship damage, would you go for that?
Not if she was a 1 skiller, no.
I might.
I mean, Captain Tribble is actually usable at 1 skill because he is the best at it.
Yeah.
Nanoprobe Phlox.
He's got the rest set, which was a huge plus. He might get use if I got him. He's probably one of the few that would actually probably make Voyagers, but it's just not. It just sits in that middling tier where it's not quite enough. It's great for a new player. A new player come in, first 100,000 on it, get Kal'Hyah, get Nanoprobe Phlox, go fill your boots. But
Yeah, I'm saying if he was the best at something.
it depends what it
What
is.
about, well, you said earlier, Engmed 2 skiller, but good in Gauntlet.
Yeah, there would be the replacement for Mirror Phlox. That would be, the
Neo
upgrade there.
Sabian in chat says if she's useful from 1 star with arena damage, then maybe.
Yeah, maybe just but
If,
they don't.
if Phlox was a 2 skill Gauntlet Engmed monster, you only need the 1 star, maybe.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like that is kind of thing. If they were weirder crew, I feel like they would be more attractive almost. As it is, they're like that is kind of the problem with the last 3 is that they're a little bit too normal almost.
Yeah.
Normal and
I like
disappointing.
weird freak crew.
Yeah, we like our kinks around here. We've been playing this too long. We don't just want our normal crew. We want our freaky crew. We've got certain needs, WRG, that need to be filled.
Okay, one last thing. I ain't gonna let you pick up that thread. as
Just
far as-
speak like he wasn't doing it in his sexy female voice.
That wasn't even a female voice. That was just like a camp voice. Anyway, do you want to do some?
no, let's
No,
talk about
okay.
the Strange New Worlds trailer and cap this off.
Yes.
And Evans of Wales, if you're watching, we are going to finish the Timelines Showdown
We will.
next week. We'll put it top of the bill for you.
We will do that.
So yeah, Strange New Worlds trailer. It's
just came
pretty
out.
spoiler free, so you don't have to turn off your radios. They don't really give much detail. But what do you guys think of it?
It's a mood trailer. The mood it sets is great.
It's Ensign Mount. That's the mood.
Yeah, no. So we always talk about we see these people and we're like, we got to create that crew. I want Mountain Man Pike on a horse as like, I want that card. I don't care what I have to do to get it. I want that card. It looks so rugged.
There's not. I think it's a very for the bear in mind this is coming out in 2 months and this is the only trailer we've got. I find it a bit lacking. I need more. What about these other crew they've revealed? And
I think it's great. I like teaser trailers.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. As a teaser, I think this is absolutely appropriate because it shows you. It gives you a hint as to what Pike's journey is going to be. That he's going to have because it's almost implied that he's going to have to pick himself back up after the shock of losing all of the Discovery crew and of like seeing his future and having to deal with that, and also losing a dear friend of Cornwell. Like he's gone through a lot, and he's probably had to pull away from Starfleet. He's pulled a bit of a Kirk in Generations, where he retired for a bit. I'm going to assume.
Bear in mind, he's only just he's pulled himself out of the rut from the cage. Where he was already like, should I just retire and just give it all up? He's pulled himself up from that, and now he's kind of had a bit of a knock again. It's yeah.
Well, I think Starfleet captains go through this a lot, where they constantly have to weigh up how much this life is worth to them, and I like that kind of struggle. And to see Pike struggle with it feels authentic, like it feels like a thing. Like Kirk did this all the time.
Dude, if we see him like get off the horse, walk into his log cabin, he takes off his jacket, and he's wearing like a red and black checkered lumberjack shirt, I'm gonna lose my shit because that is like it's totally the vibe they're going for.
Sitting in the corner and goes, "How you doing, baby?"
Yeah, like there's some really cool visuals. You killed him. There's some very cool visuals in this trailer.
And then I woke up.
There's something I love about this, which is that it almost feels like they're trying to replicate some of that beauty that you got from TNG, and so where you would get those beautiful matte paintings, or like even in TOS, where like you'd have like Starbase 11, and it was that gorgeous like pink, purple, indigo planet with that weird 60s retro futuristic skyliner, and then like there's like a planet off in the distance with rings. It's like they're going for some of that kind of absurd, strong 60s retro sci-fi imagery for this trailer, but obviously with CGI. And it's like I like that they're trying to capture some of that style.
They definitely focused on the strange new worlds aspect of the name, and they went, right, look at all these different places they're going to be visiting, and like beaming down with the EV suits and all that kind of thing. So I think it does imply there is some of that classic Trek that certain people, people want something different from what Discovery's offering. Something that aligns more with the TOS sort of almost theme rather than actual delivery. But they're promising much. We'll see if they can actually deliver. That's going to be the interesting thing.
I didn't care for the EV suits because like once I saw that, I'm like, oh, is this Discovery? Like.
Well, yeah, because they are Discovery EV suits because they've got to be able to reuse props.
Yeah,
that's the most Star Trek thing in the world.
Like, if you'd have just used those campy primary color TOS EV suits, I don't think it would look bad because, like, the cinematography,
bubble wrap,
the clarity, like all that stuff is going to make it feel different from TOS. So I don't think it would look dated, but I like the consistency.
If they moved from the Discovery style EV suits, like the ones that you saw in the trailer, toward the ones that you see in like the Tholian web that look like the giant like tablets. I would love it if they moved toward it, but it was an updated design. I think that'd be really fun.
Dr. going like this is new insulated plastic aluminum.
It allows you much more free movement.
You can even pop it when you get bored.
I also love you get a momentary tease of an updated look for the Type F shuttlecraft, like the Galileo, and it looks really nice. It's that perfect. It's that 60s style updated, and it looks really good. I'm excited. I think it's gonna look good. I think it's gonna be good.
It's been a day of things like this today. It's been like Big was saying earlier. It's like I'm just overwhelmed with everything that's coming next. We had the campaign news, all this stuff today. We had the Strange New Worlds trailer. There's an Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer out there as well now. It's just like everything's just come at once, and I'm trying to arrange the show, and I can't handle all this information. Oh shit, my kids are hungry. I better go feed them.
Fuck them.
So if you guys are just joining us late, we did get an update about the new campaign track. It will be 25 regional currency for both You can purchase the normal one for 10, the updated one for 15, but the track 3 is locked behind the premium.
Yeah,
so
definitely want a breakdown of what's in that, because that's going to make or break that price point. It's got to be like generous.
By next year, how much will the normal the monthly charge be? Will they be asking players 60 a month by then, or 80 a
60
month?
quat lose.
There'll be a 4th campaign track, which will just be all frozen bowls.
No, you know what? It'll be a 4th campaign track, and it'll give you 4 out of 5 of the last 6-pack crew.
Every time you try and claim it, it'll just quit the game and say, no, go, just stop. Force quit. Speaking of force quitting, I think it's time for us to head on our merry way. Guys, March 23rd, WRG Q&A. Come and join us. Your questions have been submitted. If they don't get answered, then we will push it forward onto the charity event where WRG are coming back. Speaking of the charity event, April 3rd will be our charity day. A lot of hours. Donate for Mind charity. We've got a lot of stuff going on. We've got a lot of things like challenges. WRG are coming on. We've got a table read. We've got a special guest who we'll be announcing soon, which I'm very excited.
Dude, if the special guest is just like you with a sock puppet on your hand, I'm going to be so mad.
You say that, everyone loved the puppet section so much, so you know what, maybe that'd be fine.
That might be a donation goal. Actually, if you guys have any suggestions for donation goals, come over to the Discord and let us know. You can find the link below. Let us know what you might like us to do. We haven't finalised the donation goals yet. We're going to discuss that soon.
And also, reminder, if you have Timelines Talks originals that you would like me to stat up and create, I will do them. Just put them in the suggestions.
Yeah.
You go for one of us, we will tell you how to do it, because it's been a while. I want to hear your suggestions, mostly because I'm running out of things to stat.
Dude, you know we can pull that anytime. Put on an episode of whatever, and we'll find 5 different variants.
Oh yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But even still, I like to get back to the people. You know,
the people.
The people.
Any final business? Do you know, this is the first episode where no one said, and now you talk, for quite a while. We haven't actually had the awkward pause. It's been sleek, it's been dynamic. And now it's over. We will see you.
We've learned to talk over each other most effectively.
More than most. We'll see you next week. See you later, guys.